Okay, and then I think you're live on YouTube, right?
I am absolutely live right now. Thank you for starting things off for me, Jane. Hello, everyone out there in internet land. We are a little bit late today. Unfortunately, there's a handful of reasons I ended up falling behind, at least a handful of things. Unfortunately, this has not been the best of weeks for me for multiple reasons, but I'm here. We're here. And we're here to play some D&D. I'm joined, as usual, by the actual players in this campaign. I'll just go down the list, starting with CyberneticPinkeye.
I'm in.
Stop it. Also, RedAsATomato.
I am also in.
And we are also joined by the SerenaMidori.
I'm out.
No!
I guess she
Also,
is no
the
longer...
SerenaMidori.
Yes.
Like there's only one.
The SerenaMidori, and I was hoping you would catch that. I was gonna say, I guess she's no longer the SerenaMidori if she's out.
I mean, the wonderful thing about SerenaMidori is she's the only one.
I wanted to meme.
Like
Go ahead.
bigger.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, okay, Griffin's in and Gabby's out. I'm gonna change my stance to be in and out.
Oh,
Animal style?
Lord.
Yeah, you know
Hey, I see you.
He-
Hate it here.
We're off to a rollicking good start.
Why is that one of your catchphrases?
Why is any of my catchphrases my catchphrases? Because
You know,
I'm
that-
stupid. Moving on.
No, it's not because you're
Differently
stupid. You make
likely
choices, sir.
There's
I learned a word
Rollicky.
today. I learned about a word today.
Yes?
Oh?
Rollicking. I learned that rollicking is a word.
Oh, it
Yes.
is.
Oh,
I didn't know
oh,
that.
it's not just the meme. See,
It's-
I thought it was
No.
like frolicking, but then
I
you just wanted to.
I'm sorry I doubted you, Griffin. I thought you were over here making up words.
No, it's
Oh.
just a very old-timey kind of word.
To be fair, that do be big Weldon energy.
Damn, you're just old. Okay.
I mean,
He is.
I'm looking this up.
Eddie Weldon's making shit up as he goes.
Oh, it's a British thing.
Oh!
To be fair,
Anyway.
I learned it from a couple of fucking Canadians, so.
Ah.
To be fair, they are absolutely Anglophiles over that way, so...
Yeah,
Yeah.
Except for the people who are Francophiles, but, you know.
I mean.
The French.
Ah, the French champagne. I cannot do an impression of that
the
man, but...
French.
If you don't know what we're talking...
curious what we're talking about, go look up Orson Welles drunk bloopers.
Oh God, yeah.
Even better, look up Orson Welles' drunk bloopers harmonizing, or
Yes.
harmonizator or something like that.
Oh,
so
like the ones
good.
where they add like the
The music.
Yeah.
So it's like it becomes a song, because here's the thing. The way that we speak tends to have a natural rhythm to it. That's why you can hear all of these remixes made out of people just friggin' talking, because that's how language works. We've got rhythm in the way that we speak. So it can be irregular, but either way.
It's like when we're taking the hobbits to Isengard, to Isengard, to
That's exactly it.
Dun, 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 dun.
I've got a jar of dirt. Okay, he was actually
Oh
singing
God,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right!
Yes,
Oh,
okay,
man.
Orson Welles drunk wine commercial. Go ahead and post that actually in the YouTube chat if you're actually in there.
Will do. Let me go
Imagine
ahead
being
and
a
switch
jar of
over to
dirt.
that account and. Ah, the French.
I also think Pokemon of Canada thanks Griffin.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cry.
Oh, God.
For reference, I've been on a bit of a recent Pokemon kick, and Jane has been subject to my rantings as of late.
Bruh, I'm living for it. Oh my god, Fish.
Yes.
It's so good.
Aw, thank you.
Oh,
Just-
good.
Also going over my notes, if you
Did
hear
you just
me...
go Ugu?
I went Welku. Although I
thought you straight up went full moe. They're like Ugu.
you know there's an Uno pack that is basically Uwus.
I,
Well,
that briefly sounded like it was completely separate from what we were just talking about until you said, did you know that there's an Uno pack? And I was just like, what does that have to do with Uwu? Okay.
This whole conversation is just going off the rails, you guys.
Yeah, I apologize.
This is our
No,
regular
it's
call.
hilarious.
This is regularly how our calls go, so
Yeah.
online or off. But yes,
will
hello
use
everyone as you're making your way in. Apologies for cutting you off there. We're just literally shooting the breeze right now, talking with each other, and also kind of with you, but you're all so very quiet. All of you that have arrived and are watching out there in internet YouTube land, you're so very
Yeah.
quiet today. That makes me sad. Okay, it
They're
doesn't
paying
actually.
attention. They're taking notes. There is going to be a test.
They're riveted. Which is good because I took the
Ooh.
fucking riveting gun and nailed them to the spot. Okay, I'm not.
They're wrong.
Riveted for her pleasure. Anyway.
Stop.
One gun, one gun.
Again, Jane.
Do it, you won't.
Well, thank you, RedAsATomato, for your comment in the stream. I'm so glad to hear from someone who's not in call with me. Oh, wait.
Jane choosing as the MVP of chat.
And that almost sounded like an MVP of Chad. And like, you know what? Yeah, that's right. Jane has total Chad energy.
She really
Did
does.
you know that Chad
Yeah.
is like one letter away from chaos? Just replace the D with an O.
I mean, add a few chaos emeralds and you're golden.
And I'm Javert!
I can resist.
All this for a loaf of bread. I hope it's baguette.
My lord. So this is what you are all in for today, is just a whole bunch of this, but then you transfer that in character. Now, I do remember that last stream I was saying I'm going to start compiling the fan art. Unfortunately, because of aforementioned holes in my week and not being able to get as much done as I wanted to, I was not able to set up any kind of slideshow for that. But that's going to be officially on the, checkmark to-do list for whenever I stream next, which should be 2 weeks from now. Presuming I'm actually able to keep up with that again. But either way, I am going to still be implementing that. We still have some fantastic artwork that people have submitted either previously or some. Okay, there's been a couple of things. I don't know if this counts necessarily as fan work because I know that Jane made some really nice, fantastic art related to the campaign, and I would love to feature that if she's okay with it.
It's just canon.
Screams, if you wanna. Yells.
Oh, yeah.
It's just canon artwork, but it's still gorgeous artwork, and it's. I would love for more people to see it because you do so good with it.
Yeah.
Also, it's a
Wait.
nice little insight into Ariadne, so I'll say that much.
Oh, yes. I mean,
Yeehaw.
you three are fantastic artists in general.
Don't
I'm not
you
going to lie.
Don't you start. Don't you
Listen.
start.
I'm just saying, you three are the artists of the group.
Don't you start, because there's a lot of different kinds of art. For
That's
example,
fair.
you can actually mix audio, which I cannot, and that's kind of integral to making a certain kind of art actually come to life. I mean, voice acting is art, but so is the mixing of it so that it sounds authentic, balancing the levels, equalization, compression, etc., etc. So
Yeah.
it's an art, it's just a different kind of it. There's a lot of different ways that you can be creative too, that's not strictly what we consider artistic mediums. So
Yeah.
That's fair.
There's an art to editing.
Yeah.
there is, as well as audio, like song mixing, which I wish I had the ability to do, but I do not. And if you want an example of that, check out I'm Always Chasing Rainbows on my channel.
Listen, that turned out good.
On this channel, I should say. It turned out good, but my mixing was also bad for multiple reasons, but I ended up making my my sound a little bit too crisp. The S's really came through, which is a common problem, unfortunately. But I don't know how to mix. I'm learning. I also learned that part of what I was doing in terms of the noise correction was causing further problems with the audio quality, and I was like, oh, that's what's wrong.
I will say noise removal is one of those things that it's tough to get down, especially when you're like gradually learning, like becoming a self-taught mixer. So I wouldn't really kick yourself for that. Like usually what I will do for that is like when I start recording anything, I will do like just at least 2 seconds of just silence, nothing, so that whatever software I'm using, it will usually default to those few seconds of being, this is the thing we need to get rid of.
Mm-hmm. I usually give it about anywhere from 5 to 15 seconds because it gives them a pretty good sampling size to work from.
I do the same whenever I record, which is never.
Well, we should change that.
Yeah, you need to do more of that.
Including the singing, especially the singing.
Absolutely.
I was actually just going through old song covers yesterday, and I realized, like, man, these old song covers are fun to listen to, but I can sing them so much better now.
I mean,
I'll say this much, Gab. I'll say this much, Gab. I'd love to collab with you on a song cover someday.
Yo!
I do still have Take a Break on the menu.
Yeah!
Yeah!
Yo!
As well as Skylar Sisters.
Get me off my ass.
Yeah!
God. Jesus, you know what would be fun?
Fucking...
like, a Bakamitai duet.
Oh, Lord.
Damn.
You
mean Dame Dane?
Yeah, dame dame, dame-o, dame-yame-o.
Oh, that song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nerds.
Yeah. Yeah, we are.
That's why you brought us here.
That's true.
That's why I come
One
up here.
day I'll sing too.
Speaking of why we came here today, I hope all of you out there in the internet land are having a good day, because we are about to get started with the lore of Leyus, Starburst. Now, if you have not seen any of these videos before, and this is your first time attending this, we usually do a little bit of a recap, which you will probably see popping up on screen when I actually switch on over. Generally, there is a playlist on the channel, and it has all of the episodes, streams in order, so you can actually follow along. They're not terribly long, but they are like, 2 to 3 hours a piece. That said, it is, at least in my opinion, it's worth catching up, but for the most part, this should hopefully be pretty easy to follow, even if you haven't been attending all the previous streams. But I've been having a lot of fun putting together this campaign. This week has been interesting in terms of prep, but we'll still get stuff done today. There's plenty that I've got lined up. So, let us bring things over officially to the streaming, and of course there pops up the chat. Hello, viewers! Wow, I just went Markiplier for a second.
Hello, everybody. My name is Markiplier, and welcome to Starburst.
Dang.
Well, you can do a Markiplier impression, which is also why you were asked to do Weldon.
Listen.
Bruh.
I won't make the same jokes I've already made. To spare Gabby some flustering.
Please spare me.
Oh, sure, spare Gab the flustering. That's why you're not doing...
Oh my god, fish.
Now, don't worry,
it's a
there's a time
multi-target
and a
missile.
place.
I love how you said, oh my god, fish, with a G. You usually are replacing God with codfish, but now it's evolved into godfish.
I've done goofed. I've done haffled.
You gave it a fucking Dawnstone. What the fuck?
Oh!
So, I have this wonderful summary dashboard that I love to put everyone through whenever we start these streams. As you can see, there's the list of characters, and we've got their icons so that you can get a good view of them. I do also, by the way, show those on the landing screen. That's art that was done by SerenaMidori, Gab, over there in the middle to the left, and then to the right there's me drawing Lyronus, one of the characters in this campaign. My baby boy! Anyway.
The Pikachu of the campaign, as it were.
A star.
You're
I
not
will not
wrong.
stop.
He's the
Oh.
cute mascot.
So, Griffin showed me this, like, generation, like, a generated meme kind of thing. And, you know, like,
Yes.
you can randomly generate, like, character traits or something like that. And I did that
Yeah.
for Lyronus, and it came up as sun hippie. And I was like, yeah, actually,
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
The sun is a star too.
Oh,
And
yeah,
he's very much hippy dippy over there.
For
Y'all want to
sure.
know what it gave me for me?
What?
Nani?
Pokemon Mermaid.
Yo! Listen,
Okay.
it's still May. It's like the
I was about to
second to
say it's
last day
still
of May.
Mermaid.
Okay.
Yes.
But I'm also going to read off the summary recap thingy now. Okay. The party stumbled across the missing guards from Vermouth, finding them paralyzed with fright while surrounded by twig blights. Our heroes jumped into action, killing the twig blights handily. When a tree was awakened, however, Koshi found themselves on the brink of death. Lyronus, enraged at the attack on Koshi, drew his rapier for the first time, plunging it into the tree and unleashing a burst of searing light. Ariadne unknowingly shapeshifted into her druidic starry form, and I misspelled shapeshifted, it's missing an E.
So she
Listen,
can shap.
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
Finishing off the tree, while Lyronus was pinned by panic, following the attack that he just made. After noticing a pair of feral eyes watching the party from the forest vanish, Koshi sprinted after them, getting lost in the forest in the process. I love that it's even still on screen, the survival roll being 9. It was going to be a high DC anyway, but that was just like straight up, you got lost.
Well, you
Oh,
tried.
yeah. I mean, like, if nothing else, we learned a valuable lesson about that age-old question. Does an elf shift in the woods?
No, but a bird does.
I like this.
Haelum and Ariadne consoled Lyronus through his panic attack, and the two guards revealed that they don't know why they were in the clearing. Something strange moved them. But what? Or who? And on our to-do list for the day, it's get the sitch from the guards, find Koshi, Koshi finds something, and get the guards home. And anyone want lunch?
Sustenance.
I can't believe we haven't slept.
Yeah,
I hate it here.
Yeah, we're still on day 2. Let's go!
this campaign
This
has been
fucking
going
family.
for a few months now, and we're still on day 2. Although, a lot has been happening in this day, and we will probably be seeing some more time skipping once we actually leave this area. But, they've got a lot to do. They've got work to do. Anyway.
Yeah.
Today. I don't really want. Sorry.
I absolutely I love that friggin' vid, I don't really want to do the work today. I don't really want to do the work today. I don't really want to do the work today. I don't want to do the work today.
And it
That
turned into
company-
a whole song. And
That
it just,
company in
oh.
general pushes out fucking bangers.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. So, all right. With all of that out of the way, and after your successful finishing of the twig blights, let's move us over to the screen, to the scene, to the carnage.
Get a scene of the crime.
So, we did kind of cut it off with the two guards having come over and explained, yeah, we don't know what happened. And I forget exactly what it was that they had actually said. I think I had mentioned that they kind of vaguely remembering wandering away from their post and setting up camp overnight here, kind of abandoning their swords in the process, because for some reason it felt like they didn't need them. But yeah, they just thought that this was where they were supposed to be, but they don't know why.
Mm.
And then they also go on to say, just about an hour ago, many monstrous beasts, horrifying to behold, appeared and began menacing them. And then they stare at what remains of the twig blights, which is mostly you know, ashes at this point, broken twigs and all of that stuff, and saying, that's not what I saw, but I guess that's all they were, huh?
Oh.
Perhaps some kind of illusion then.
Meanwhile, Lyronus is still kind of like, I mean, he's still feeling the throes of the panic attack, and it says something that even despite that, the first thing he does is unconsciously flirt with Ariadne.
And she short circuits because of course she does.
You short-circuited! You went right on stream! What the fuck?!
Listen, don't discharge shame, okay? Sometimes it just gotta let a fuse blow.
I mean, that's how you gotta do it, I guess. But, I mean, the Ariadne, you're beautiful. What the fuck?
Just blunt response fucking killed me, by the way.
Oh, the blue screen of death continues for so many people.
Yes.
Oh, my baby
This
cat
is
is
a test
scratching
of
up.
the emergency system.
I got a new arch thing for my cats, and they immediately, like within seconds of my setting it down, once I actually got it set up, went over to it, started clawing it up, and then sleeping on it. Garrus was just now clawing at it. He loves these archways. Anyway.
Aw, Garrus.
So, that's where we all were. We had the victory underhand. We will get to what happened with Koshi in just a moment, but I wanted to get a little bit more of this scene underway. So, what next, fellow adventurers?
I think the first thing, like, especially after hearing from the guards and their account of everything, the fact that Koshi ran off in a direction, like, I think we can trust that it's like, okay, well, there's a purpose for that, but now we have to go find them as well.
Yeah.
That's gonna be important to probably reconcile, or, reconvene with him.
They're part of the group. Come back, Koshi. Wrong direction.
Yeah,
Please.
Oh no.
On the initial leaving, Haelum has just been like, I'll let them go. After talking with the guards, like, actually, we should go get them.
I could see, because here's the thing, Haelum did also see the pair of eyes, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, the pair of eyes that were heading off. Yes. Ariadne, I think, was a bit distracted in the moment, which, well, again.
Yeah.
I did have a relatively high DC to be able to see it, so that was just the thing. But yeah, Haelum, you know that Koshi saw something and that was probably what they were pursuing. So there's at least that, like, we're probably gonna want to maybe help him, or help them with whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah, because, like, ultimately Haelum's idea is like, well, if you want to run in there and get yourself killed, well, don't let me stop you. But it's also like, well, I don't want that.
And also, it might not be great if one of the people that are associated with the Star Destiny end up getting killed. Plus, it might make Lyronus sad. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's fine.
So, do you guys have any questions for the guards?
I mean, other than specifics of what they saw, but they pretty much already described that, I think, right?
Yeah. Pretty much that, like, all that they remember is having been, like, at their post during the night, and then out of nowhere getting this weird sense that they needed to go someplace else, that they didn't need their swords, and so that's why they ditched them, and that they ended up here, which is why they have this whole camp set up, is that they literally just set up camp in the middle of the woods.
That's right.
Overnight.
I actually did have a question. I had it written down in my notes even. But I mean, I guess I'm even guessing there's probably not going to be a specific answer for this, but, like, I wrote down whether or not it was just the monsters they encountered, or did they feel like they were supposed to meet someone here?
Whether they were supposed to meet someone.
Did they see any person / someone, and did they or did they feel like they were trying to meet someone?
See.
Whether they saw someone or not, they might have had the feeling of, oh, we're here to meet, like, a person, but we don't know who it is.
Yeah.
They mentioned that they don't recall like ever thinking that there was a person that they were like, it was almost like the sense that they were ordered to be here, but like that was what their order from Hilde, their captain, gave them. Like it was as if it was that feeling as if that was what she had told them to do without even remembering her saying as such. It's just like for some reason the order just changed from stay stationed, at the town gates to go to the forest and make camp overnight. But they don't have any idea of who ordered them to be here, whether it was Hilde or something else. They didn't think that they were waiting for any particular person, but at some point these monsters showed up and they got terrified by these monstrous beasts, and I think they would give a description of something that is nothing like a twig blight. It would be, something about 10 times larger and much more ferocious with much bigger bloodied fangs and all of that. Something that shouldn't even really exist. So they just they ended up becoming completely paralyzed with fear, unable to even move, which is why they were just standing there while the rest of you were fighting these things off.
Right. So then I have a question that's probably more of a meta question to figure out if I need to roll anything.
Mhm.
As someone who knows about charms, do I need to roll Arcana to kind of come to the conclusion that if they were charmed by like a normal charm person spell, they would remember it and know that they were charmed, since that's part of that spell, that it's either not a charm person or maybe it is, and they like I'm trying to reason that out basically. You know what I'm trying to say?
I guess, because here's the thing, if Haelum would know charm person and would know that that's a spell, like, does she have that as one of her spells?
Let me double check.
I was gonna say, I mean, if you don't actually have it as one of your spells, you can quite possibly, alright, I'm even just double checking with you too.
Yeah, I don't have charm person specifically, but I do have suggestion.
Okay, so what I'll let you do is you can roll Arcana with advantage to see if it's something that she would have been able to pick up on. She would probably still, one way or another, pick up that it was some sort of charm or some kind of charm spell to that effect, but maybe not necessarily the spell. So roll Arcana with advantage.
Like with some Fae background, maybe she might know, but yeah, that's why I wanted to ask if I could roll for that. So let me roll with advantage.
Cool. Yeah, you can't get charmed.
And you rolled a 1, and that was fortunately with the advantage, so you got the 19. So actually what you're able to pick up is that it does sound like some kind of charm, and especially because you rolled so well in that. I think what even aids this is they went on to kind of explain... Hang on, I'm gonna take a sip of...
Dreamer juice.
Liquid! Anyway, that they mentioned that as soon as the battle had ended, and right before Koshi ran off, and like that bird friend of yours ran off into the forest, that's when they sort of snapped out of it. They sort of woke up and like felt like the situation had changed. Like they'd felt like it was kind of like in comparison, they didn't know that it felt like a dream until they woke out of it, but that there was this sense of something having ended in that moment, and that it was not how they were supposed to feel until you guys finished that battle and got them into the safe space. So what you're able to tell from your Arcana roll, because they said that, is that there was probably some sort of charm spell in place, but it's a little bit different because it had the additional effect of what you would even say as a fear type spell, because you actually do have a couple of spells I noticed too related to illusions and things along those lines. So there might have been multiple spells at play. That might have been one spell that you're not necessarily familiar with. There might be something else that's going on, but you can tell that there was probably a combination of charm and illusion going on.
Gotcha. Cool. And I think that would help. Like, they wouldn't just be like, oh, we've been charmed. They're like, oh, what's going on? The more questions that Haelum is asking, the more she's like confirming, like, yep, that does sound like you were charmed by something. Whether it was specifically, like, meta-wise, whether it was specifically charm person or just some charm effect, at least we can come to the conclusion that, yeah, they were being controlled.
Yep.
So.
In fact, I would even say, because you have suggestion, that would even fit in, because suggestion is literally making you do something because you think that that's the right thing to do, so that even works. And so if this is related to the guards, they kind of like exchange glances with each other a little bit awkwardly, and then they kind of remark to the effect that, you know, they don't get a lot of magic out where they are. You know, there's so they don't know how to deal with that, and they wouldn't be able to recognize it. So kind of even asking Haelum if she is particularly like knowledgeable with magic.
No, she doesn't want to admit that she isn't. She says, well, I know a little bit of magic, and enough to, how would she word this? I can't think of the exact wording, but she's trying to not come across as, like, there are people who know more than me, but I can answer all your questions. Basically.
Like, I'm equipped for this situation?
Yeah. Like, I may not know all magics, but I know a lot.
I'm sorry, as you were saying that too, I was rolling for how impressed they're going to be with her in terms of her response. And so, they both, basically you can't see their expressions exactly, but you can tell, like, just overall, their body language and all of that stuff and what you can see of their faces, they're very, you know, like, impressed by the fact that you know anything about magic. Because most people in Vermouth are just, you know, average, everyday people. I mean, there are elves, and of course there's a lot of magic associated with elves, but there's not a lot of magic done in Vermouth, so they're not prepared against that. And let me see.
A couple more stands for the Haelum.
Oh, cool. Well, they're not necessarily in the Haelum, #Haelum yet.
You can have a Haelum fan club.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And Lyronus actually pipes up and says that it might behoove them to actually, like, ask about training or training against magic, like how to resist it or what you would need to be able to resist some kind of magical enchantment or recognize it when it's happening. Maybe, you know, turning to the others and saying maybe this is something that we could suggest to Hilde when we get back into town.
I think that's a great idea.
And the guards agree. So I think they're kind of like, well, this is very surreal, and we don't know what happened, but I think it's in our best interest to get back as soon as possible. We need to report back to Captain Brackland, and they actually, at this, they kind of almost seem to realize in the instant of saying it, like, oh shit, Captain Brackland. And they thank you for your help and promise that they can head back to town without difficulty, without whatever it was that was making them hallucinate. They are trained guards, after all. They probably need to try and... They may actually even ask if you happened to see where they had dropped their swords.
I think we did, didn't we?
It was part of how you tracked them down.
Yeah, so then we'll let them know.
And
Let's give them a general direction.
They thank you profusely, and or what am I doing? I'm using that on the wrong one. They head off, and they're gone. By the way, this is more of like a detail that you guys, if you'd asked, you would have known, but like it's there's no harm in telling you. It's not like a spoiler or anything. Their names are Samuel and Maxwell.
Oh, Sam and Max, I see you.
Uh-huh.
Feel the soul leaving Gab's body.
Come on, we gotta get back to base, little buddy.
Where's Luke when you need him?
I know.
Oh,
I'm gonna kick that. I know this is not his fault,
die.
but I'm gonna go kick his ass after this.
You can blame him for it anyway. I'm sure he'll accept
Exactly.
responsibility for it anyhow.
For
Anybody
reference,
makes a pun, I'm gonna go kick Luke's ass.
That's
for-
fair.
For reference, Luke is our mutual associate, Cyberlink 420, who we also partake in D&D goodness with every now and then.
Every other week. interchangeably with this one, so... Alright, so they head off, and Lyronus kind of looking around again now that the situation has changed a little bit, and then asks, in a semi-panic, wait, where's Koshi?
Well, they went into the forest, and I was trying to tell them not to, but I figured what was happening here was a little bit more important.
He is visibly distressed.
Perhaps we should go see how he's doing. I mean, considering that earlier he almost he was ground, but then he's not supposed to be ground. But then, which way
Yes,
did
I
he
think this way. Just follow me. We'll go find them.
go? Right.
And I think, alright, let's roll perception for the team real quick. Well, Lyronus
Does that
doesn't
include
see
Koshi?
it. Koshi is not presently there, and they would not have seen this.
Okay.
But yeah,
Just
just
perception, yeah.
Perceive.
Just double checking.
cool. Lyronus did not see this. He rolled a nat 1. He is distracted because he is
Aw.
concerned about Koshi. But the two of you actually notice, and let me just double check what my notes are specifically on this. You do notice that the tree branch, or one of the branches on the awakened tree, now that it is dead and collapsed and kind of charred, is still kind of twisting and writhing a little bit. It might just be
that.
death rolls twitching. But since
Or we
you
could roll. I'm just kidding.
well, I mean, do you guys want to roll? You can roll either nature or arcana for this.
Which one's
Okay.
better? Arcana, technically.
They're the
Same
same.
roll. I'm gonna have just the same roll all night.
Wow.
I know nothing about plants.
Says the druid!
You know?
You know nothing about twitching plants, specifically.
She knows nothing
Plants.
about Twitch thoughts.
Plants don't normally twitch.
that's all she gets from it. That isn't supposed to do that, I think.
So,
Like Ariadne picks up another stick to poke the other stick.
Haelum, what you are able to glean from this, and I could even see Ariadne still being semi-blue screened from, what Lyronus said.
Everything.
Or from the
Yeah.
everything. But, Haelum, what you're able to actually glean from this is that the animated tree branch in itself is still carrying a little bit of the magic that had animated it in the first place. Especially because you rolled the arcana. So the tree itself is definitely full well dead, but this branch is retaining the awakened magic.
The branch is alive, in essence.
It's not sapient or anything. It's not
Right.
really thinking, but it can move.
It's still just attached to the tree, or is it separated?
Let me just fucking decide something. Okay, it actually fell off at one point. So it's actually not even as charred. It maybe, I could even see, the various impacts.
One sec.
It's okay. The various impacts of, the your rapier connecting earlier knocked this branch off, which would also make it, all the more why Haelum would notice it. That's
Yeah.
the branch that knocked off when I did no damage to it.
Yep.
But you notice that it is currently twitching, less charred than the rest of the tree. And so,
Gotcha. I'm pretty sure Haelum's gonna want to investigate it, and if anything, try to pick it up. And if it starts actually moving more, she's probably gonna leave it alone.
Oh, okay.
Do I need to roll anything for that, or is that just literally she picks it up?
it's literally just as she picks it up.
Okay, she picks it up.
Pick
And-
it up.
While it's moving, it's not thrashing about, it's not a wild movement, but it's sort of it does respond to you picking it up, as if it recognizes being picked up. But it's kind of like I hate to say a worm, but it's something that doesn't register the fullness of the situation, but it recognizes stimulus,
Yep.
Ah.
So it responds to touch, so it seems, and again, from the residual magic that awakened the tree in the first place.
Well, this is curious. Seems we didn't kill all of the tree.
Lyronus kind of looks at her picking up a branch, and I think he even had this initial thought of, well, she is an elf. So maybe she just likes tree branches. But
Racist.
on seeing what happened after that, seeing the thing move, oh, that is curious. And now since he sees it, I'm going to roll for him. He does not know.
Oh, damn.
He does
Why
not
don't you
know.
know things.
He is distracted. He doesn't know anything about it. And he says, well, it might be worth examining later, or perhaps getting a more knowledgeable person, unless you know something about it. He looks to Haelum.
Well, I only know so much that whatever magic was keeping this tree alive is still within this branch, but it appears not so much that it can necessarily do anything on its own. Hello,
see.
branch, can you hear me? There's a pause. No, I don't think it can hear me. We may need to talk to someone else.
Lyronus nods.
Oh, I was gonna say there is a spell, Speak with Plants, but that's a 3rd level spell.
We're gonna not waste a 3rd level spell slot. today
Actually,
on this.
Can't cast it, not high enough level for it.
well, guess what? Does Ariadne mention
no.
that out loud at all?
she, under her breath, but then... Okay, fudge it. You know what? It's 16, she does. She'll just like, I mean, there is, I can't do it yet, but perhaps, because, talking to plants, which I know sounds bizarre, it is a thing. It is a spell that, some individuals, do?
Lyronus brightens and says, "Oh, right. I am one such person." And he kind of
Fucking
oh.
weird.
he thinks for a moment, and then he goes, "Maybe I can communicate with it and, well, find out what's going on." And I'm going to mark down that he is presently 1 spell less now. You see him, like, what? How does this fucking work anyway? Just double checking.
What components does it use?
Oh, it doesn't use any
does it?
components. But he does do, like, basically, he says a magic phrase and he does some gestures, and briefly his eyes kind of glow with magic for a second. And then he smiles, leans down to the branch, currently actually slowly curling around Haelum's arm, but it's not like latching on, it's just
You're
like...
just kinda like, aw, cute.
Yeah. And basically starts, asking it, like, oh, what is it that moves you so? And, so on. Like, he's doing it, like, as if, I'm your friend now.
Yeah.
And then the branch kind of twitches, and, like, the few leaves that are still attached are kind of, like, shivering with the movement. And then Lyronus kind of, like, very delighted to see this thing acting alive. I mean, trees are alive, but this is a different kind of alive.
Yep.
And then he smiles up at the other two and says that basically it's not... It doesn't know what's going on. It can't entirely perceive it. Red flag, that is, says the Traveler's Emporium. Hello. It doesn't know what's moving it, only that one moment it was living its best life, and that now it is, that some kind of magic swept over it, and when it was separated, when this particular branch was separated from the trunk, it sort of had a divided consciousness. It felt like it fell away from itself. So I believe that the essence of the tree is still in this branch, as well as the spell that animated it in the first place. And I think he kind of asks, are you able to take commands? Like, do you understand us when we speak, just normal speech? There's a pause, And then there's actually, he says that, yeah, it understands speech. Most things don't listen to trees. Most people don't take the time, except for the Fae and druids and the like. But, yeah, no, it can understand speech, and, you know, it's actually, like, it remembered hating you guys just a moment ago, but now it doesn't feel all that angry.
Well, you see, most conflicts can be solved just by talking. And unfortunately, even when the most, like, understanding of people can fall into the trap of seeing something large and scary and unknown, and the instinct is to fight it. I think also the guards yelling probably made us feel like we had to fight as well. But we are sorry, Mr. Tree, and we are more than happy to help you get back to your best life as best we can.
It curls a little bit around her arm, and Lyronus actually asks, would you like to stay with us? The tree shakes a little bit, or the branch shakes a little bit, and Lyronus says, I think it recognizes that it's a little bit too small to survive easily in a forest like this. Like, it's one thing when it's full size, but being a tiny little branch like this, it could easily be taken out by any number of animals in this forest. If we promise not to hurt you, do you want to come with us? And, like, the tree shakes again, or the branch. I keep saying tree, but the tree branch shakes again.
He's a tree.
He's a
He's a
tree.
tree in my heart.
Honorary tree.
He's a
Did
tiny
we just
tree.
adopt a fucking tree as an NPC?
Let's go!
Listen, we can have a Groot. Let us have
We
Groot.
need tree branch fan art.
Got a
Best
fucking
character.
bonsai. Oh, that's what we're calling it. We're calling it bonsai.
Oh my god.
Aw, we can nickname him Bon Bon.
Oh my
god
God.
damn it, that's cute.
So I think he then kind of says that, you know, as long as we're not going to be doing any harm to the tree, it's not going to, you know, do anything to us. And in fact, like, you know, maybe it can help us. It doesn't seem, it's still getting used to the idea of being able to move. That's still weird. And it's hard to know, and I think Lyronus may even remark, it's hard to know exactly how long this kind of magic may last, but at least for the time being, we have a semi-alive tree branch, and it seems to like us, and maybe it's able to help us in some way. He straightens up. And I think also it wants to stay with you for now, Haelum, since you actually picked it up.
Oh, completely understandable. You are more than welcome to stay on my arm.
Does the branch need water by chance? We could pick some up for it before we go.
What was the question? I missed it.
Oh, basically, does the branch need water before we go? Because there is a river right here.
Oh yeah,
If-
let's ask before we go after Koshi. We need to go save Koshi, but we need to
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
after.
I think that, like, again, you know, really, Lyronus, or no, because the thing actually understood Ariadne. So, the tree branch says that as long as it's able to access water, like, normally it's used to just kind of drawing it up from underneath the ground.
Mhm.
But, as long as it has water now that it can consciously choose how much water it absorbs, thank you for subscribing, Aaron Boy 18, the Yoshi main.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Also, I like that we now have hashtag bonbon in the chat.
Yeah, I saw that. That was so good. Okay, well, yes, it's true now.
Where was my train of thought just now?
Basically,
that's
that's used to getting water on its own. From
Now
roots.
that it can consciously choose to drink water, it can probably get its fill without needing to be continuously connected to water. So it'll be fine because, you know, it didn't get singed too badly or anything. So as long as you guys are able to give it water, you know, by nightfall, it should be fine.
Yeah, like it doesn't need it now, but it will later.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, I guess Lyronus kind of laughs and says, we have a pet! We have a pet tree!
Like,
He's
what-
actually laughing at this.
Watch this tree become the proverbial Magikarp that eventually becomes a Gyarados and saves our asses.
Let's go.
Oh, I can't wait.
Look,
Giant tree buddy.
If we were gonna get any sort of companion for this group, of course the one that Haelum picks is just a tree.
This tree is our Prin.
Oh my god. It's just as green.
Yeah.
God, how tall is this tree branch, by the way?
No, this tree branch is
Prin,
gonna
I
be
assume.
bigger than Prin, I bet. She's only 6 inches.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's about the length of like your forearm, so like your elbow to
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
maybe like to your knuckles, like in terms of overall length. So yes, it's longer than Prin.
Whomping Willow waiting to happen. Absolutely, Traveler's Emporium.
Yes.
I mean-
Dang.
Yes,
So
also
that's
to
like 18 inches.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like also to give context, chat. Prin is a pixie NPC from the other campaign we're playing in.
Yeah. Good to have context.
Yeah, the one who is voiced by Jane here, actually.
Yeehaw.
Okay, just going over my notes again. Apologies.
Every
No
D&D
worries.
game needs a mascot character.
And I tried
And
to
now
give
it's a
that-
fucking potted plant.
Well, there's
Well,
that.
not yet potted. We can
You
get
know,
some pot
fair.
later.
I think Koshi is the mascot.
I was gonna
mascot.
say, I thought Lyronus was our
I was
mascot.
gonna say, I still argue that Lyronus
Yeah.
is the mascot.
As I said before to you last night, Griffin, Lyronus isn't the mascot, he's the escort mission.
¿Por qué no los dos?
Yeah, that's
He
what
can
she
be
said
both.
last night too. He can be both, but
It's like Butterfree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what?
We're gonna have a very
Oh.
tearful goodbye Butterfree
God
episode
damn
when we
it.
bring him back.
I cry every time.
Yeah.
I'm both looking forward to getting him home, but also not because I know me in real life. I'll fucking cry. So
Same.
you know,
okay.
looking forward to
Uh,
that.
Like I said, just
Look
going
how
over
hard
my
we can
notes.
cry.
I love
Yeah,
it.
you're good.
Sort of inadvertently turned this into a Pokemon podcast. I apologize.
Well, when are you not?
My brother.
Tell me what we fighting for.
We
Okay.
have to fight this boar.
It's what?
Okay.
I was gonna say.
Shit, maybe I should cover
Oh.
that at some point.
Yeah.
Do it.
God damn.
If we're
Oh,
making
there's
this a
a
Pokemon
newcomer.
stream, everybody in the chat, what's everybody's favorite Pokemon?
Yeah.
Mine's
I'm-
Jigglypuff.
I'm for alligator ride and die.
I'm a basic
Oh.
bee and Pikachu.
Hello,
Ain't nothing wrong
Dovil
with that.
Sordomar. I'm a newcomer from a video Sirenia was featured in, and so far I'm having fun. Hearts out from one streamer to another. Well, welcome. I'm
yeah.
actually, I will say this. I'm Loreley. Sirenia Studios is the channel, but like, I mean, either way, I appreciate that. I'm going to guess. I'm going to wager that it was the Mommy Must Murder video that I was in on Rect's channel or Rect's
Or was
channel.
it the Dimitresque?
It
Yeah,
could-
Yeah.
well, I don't, because that linked actually back to my normal account.
Oh.
So that's why I'm suspecting it's the Recti song cover that I was a part of. Although, I mean, Devil Sword Omar can actually, tell us himself.
Oh yeah.
We are speculating.
The mystery we have to solve.
Did you see what
Yeah.
the Travelers Emporium said? Nerd
Uh-huh.
note: if it's a sacred wood, it can one-shot a vampire.
I did
know
see
what?
that.
Good
I would
point.
love.
Blackjack!
Oh, hi, Blackjack.
Blackjack!
I
That's a
was gonna
cat.
s-
Hello, Blackjack.
Oh, it was
Uh.
in the Dimitrescu. Interesting.
You know, all your other socials are linked
I mean,
in some way or another.
The thing is, I was about to say, I'm guessing Laura's on the Sylveon side of things, and I could hear it in the background now.
Okay. Blackjack! Blackjack! Blackjack!
Yes,
You do, in
Rubrina,
fact-
you do hear a baby.
Yeah, I was gonna say you do in fact hear a baby. Does Blackjack want to be cast as the tree branch?
Oh my
Yeah.
god, a tree branch
gonna
that
have to-
meows.
You're gonna have to let Blackjack know that the roll is actually a silent one, so he'll have to stop that.
Yeah.
Now I've got the image in my head of this fucking tree branch with cat mannerisms, just like curling up by the fire.
I mean, it is
things.
already curled around Haelum's arm.
I kind of like
Yeah.
it. I like to imagine like a snake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like
Like
oh
a
god, like
UNT.
or like a ferret.
Yeah.
I was gonna make note
Ooh.
too. Not sure many people who have seen like the full art of Haelum. Was not my original character design. I've talked about that before, how it's an adoptable design, and she's now my design. Her design has these like vine-like tattoos already on her skin. But the branch is kind of like, this makes me feel safe. Let's curl around the arm.
Oh,
That's
I
it's
can look at it like that.
I love that.
like the tree branch is like following the markings on her arm, and it's just like, this is my place. It was made for me.
Mhm.
Oh my
Oh my
god,
God.
yeah.
A fucking Junji Ito story about a sentient branch.
So,
But more wholesome.
I take it, then. After all of this, we figure out that we are heading back? Or we're heading to try and
well,
locate
We're gonna go get
Koshi.
Koshi first.
That's what I meant to say, is we're heading back.
Yeah.
Fuck Koshi!
We got a branch. What do we need with the bird?
Bruh,
We have a new
I'll
mascot
fight
now.
you.
We don't need Koshi.
Yeah, no. Okay,
Kidding,
so
kidding. We need to go get our bird.
we need to go collect our bird baby boy. Bird baby. There we go.
Baby
Jeez.
bird baby.
Baby bird
Sure.
baby. So just in general, like nothing else needs to be particularly remarked on in terms of this scene. Guards are gone. Everything's been kind of cleaned up. I will say they probably actually packed up the tent because that is part of their own equipment. So probably while you were exploring the tree branch, they packed that up, and then that's when they were gonzo.
Oh, I have one more question before we go.
Yeah.
Oh, because, like, if the Speak with Plant spell only lasts 10 minutes, and we can communicate to it, but it can't communicate with us, do we have to teach it, like, how to nod or something? Like, yes and no? To
I
communicate
think-
with it?
Actually, does Ariadne want to ask that question?
Okay. It's okay. So then, to like the tree branches real quickly. Before we head off, because with the way Lyronus speaks with you currently, it's only meant to last for a couple of minutes, from my understanding. Do we want to establish some sort of way for you to communicate to us as well, in the time that he can't understand you? Do you understand the concept of yes and no? Which is, like this versus like this. And she's shaking her head yes, and then shaking her head no.
We
Lyronus,
could ask the branch. Oh, sorry, God.
sorry,
Make him
go ahead.
first. No, Lyronus probably needs to translate first.
Yeah, I was gonna say Lyronus kind of says that yes, the tree understands yes and no, as well as, and I think, like, on the remark of, like, being able to communicate even just simple things, because they can, I mean, maybe not continuously, but Lyronus can at least occasionally go into more detail when they need to. But I think that, like, after a bit, it says, Lyronus says, all right, it's going to show us the various motions that it will do for yes or no, or I don't know. And similarly, it does like a perpendicular wave of one of the, like, cause it's a whole branch, but it has like these little twig parts that kind of come off. It does like a perpendicular wave of one of those twigs. And then to indicate no, it does a horizontal one. And I'm gonna have to make note of this. I think I'm actually gonna.
Could I actually make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Like the whole squeeze once for yes, squeeze twice for no, squeeze 3 times for I don't know. Because depending on the direction of Haelum's arm, horizontal and vertical will change.
Right. Okay.
That's
so
true. Smart.
squeeze once for
Look
yes.
north for yes.
Yeah. Twice for no, and thrice for I don't know.
And that way,
Cool.
meta-wise, you can just tell us technically a yes, no, and I don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll know, like, in the game, we were able to translate it via slight twig twitching.
Right.
And also help with spell slots because, you know, that's still a 3rd level spell.
Oh, yes, it
If
is.
we really need to, yeah.
Hi, Garrus. What can I help you with? You're just here on the back of the chair? Cool.
The cats are here. Mother that
Don't.
created violence.
Anyway, so after establishing all of that, is there anything else we want to do while we're here?
No, we want to go get Koshi.
Okay.
Yeah, Koshi's high priority. Let's save Burb.
All right. So, scene transition. You guys are departing from the scene, and I don't have a particular map for this, but I do have a scene for you, Koshi, since you decided to go running off after whatever it was that you saw. Okay.
Boy!
As you lose track of whatever it was watching, or whatever it was that was watching you before, you attempt to find your way back to the team, only to realize you can't figure out the direction you came from. Uh-oh. You're lost. Roll perception for me.
You got it. Let me see here. Yeah, that tracks.
Hotfish.
Lay it all out.
Koshi does not perceive.
So, Koshi does not perceive, unfortunately, and I even set a pretty low DC for this too, but...
Oh well.
If this branch gets angry, flip the switch, it has whole new meaning. Flip the switch has no... Yes. Oh god, yes, because switch is another word for tree. Anyway. For wood that's been stripped down to whip people with. Anyway.
Damn.
Oh.
That's what a switch is. However, you do catch a glimpse of something shimmering just out of the corner of your eye. So this is separate from the check that you just did. Anyway.
You didn't see one thing, but you saw something else.
Yeah.
Man, we can even say that this is what distracted you from finding that other thing.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
you see the statue from the center of Vermouth. No.
In the middle of the forest?
Yes, but... No, wait. This is no statue. A woman dressed in vivid yellow and bright colors stands near you, watching with saddened eyes. She points to her left, and from her finger, a streak of light, disappearing into the trees, hangs in the air as the woman vanishes. Roll religion.
Okay.
And I'm actually even going to say with advantage here. Jesus
Alright.
Christ.
Please roll good.
Okay.
I was even saying, that makes sense since Koshi is not religious.
True, and I will say that it was still, literally, the first one was a meets it, beats it, but thankfully you also got the 10 to make sure you got this. You're able to figure out, because, again, from everything that you have been exposed to in town, that was Lyra, or at least appeared to be. And the light is a beacon. Giving you probably pointing you in a direction you probably should be going in.
Koshi is skeptical of this, cautious, but they are going to sort of skulk their way towards the light, their rapier ready.
Well, it's like a beam of light that's kind of like hanging in the air, and it's kind of like, okay, this is a really random kind of reference to make for this, but like, the Sweet Mesa, or the Black Mesa sweet voice.
Oh God!
It's not like it has that slow, gradual fade. Like there's that like the decay of the light, but it is hovering there, and it is a line going into like a bar in itself. It's still light, so you can like pass through it, but it doesn't like it's just light that points you in a particular direction.
Yeah, seeing this light sort of standing in place, Koshi is going to try and swipe at it with their sword.
Sword passes right through.
Cat?
Koshi sort of like unconsciously growls at this because they are not sure what to make of it.
Koshi's a cat now.
Pretty much. Well, so is the tree.
They were
So-
always a cat. They climbed up
Yeah.
on top of a fucking bookshelf to avoid contact with Lyronus.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
So,
True.
Koshi is going to sort of lay low, sort of like get down and sort of like almost like military training, crouch along like the shrubbery and whatnot while keeping an eye on that light looking up
yeah.
and follow along that path.
Cool, 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 cool. Alright, so here we go. I'll even say this. So you guys are following after Koshi. Let's have everyone roll survival checks. Not you, Koshi, because you've already had your survival check and you failed it earlier.
Uh-huh.
So much so that a goddess had to fucking intervene. Oh my gosh, Haelum!
Don't you
Oh,
know
no.
that?
She's
mean,
distracted
again-
by her
Think-
new pet tree.
No. I think that's still valid because Haelum may live in a forest, but she's never had to survive outside of like a cozy elven area.
That's fair.
That's true.
This is her first actual outing from that place, so I'm not. I think that this actually makes way more sense.
Yeah, we'll let the die lay as they fall.
Yeah.
And I just rolled for Lyronus, and let's see. Let's even double check what his. Yeah, no, he did not make this check. But
Jeez.
thank fuck for Ariadne. Ariadne, who spends a lot of time in forests, who spends a lot of time navigating through the forest, you're actually able to notice, like, all of the various little, like, branches and signs of Koshi having, blown through the area. You can see, like, the little... Because, Koshi plucks the feathers, but, like, I imagine that you still get them, like, growing, like, the little tiny ones. Like
The little like spikes.
the little baby quills of feathers trying to happen.
Yeah, as soon as they grow big enough, Koshi to grab, Koshi plucks them out.
Yeah.
Ah.
So, but you are able to see basically signs of Koshi and which direction they headed in. So you're able to direct them to the point where Koshi had their vision. So, I'll even say this because you can actually now see this bar of light extending out, and then, Ariadne, you can see that Koshi's signs of movement follow along where this light is moving. That said, here, I finally made a fucking way to make this potentially happen again. Because you guys decided to go after them instead of just heading back to town, which I didn't actually originally plan for, which was dumb of me. But... roll perception.
Watch me roll a 1.
What do we perceive with our 4 eyes?
Okay. Let's see. Okay, you were... Unfortunately, Lyronus was not. I think he was more actually focused on the beam of light, and that's... Anyway. I just
Valid.
rolled something else.
Shiny things.
This motherfucker really just went pretty shiny.
That's exactly it, and I was gonna see if he actually recognized what the beam of light was meant to represent, but no, he also failed on that one. He is literally just shiny pretty. So you guys were both actually able to get this. Haelum, definitely so. And Ariadne, like, you can definitely see it, but Haelum, you noticed it first.
Yeah.
I noticed it first.
Yahoo!
You find an unusual necklace on the ground, one made of fangs of snakes and wolves, with a center pendant of glass encasing a strange black-rotted indigo flower.
What kind of flower is that?
I don't know what particular flower type off the top of my head.
Oh, okay.
But basically you see like an indigo flower. It's very clearly not from the area. At least you can
Gotcha.
definitely tell that much. Like, it's not indigenous to this particular area. And it was sealed in the glass, and even though that there appears to be some sort of black rot attached to it, it doesn't appear to have decayed at all. Outside of that, like, it was sealed in place as it was.
I think I have this idea. Haelum kind of kneels and is about to grab it when she stops, kind of looks over at the branch, because I'll even say I think the branch is probably on her dominant hand, her right hand, probably. So she's gonna stop and go, "Do you think we should pick this up?" Talking to the branch.
Huh. Let me see.
Because I'm not assuming the branch is gonna know everything, but she's just trying to get a quick. Is this a good idea? Am I dumb for doing this?
Can I just say, I love that the elf who's used to like elven city life is getting nature assistance from a tree branch.
I mean,
He knows that trees have wisdom.
No, that's just she's essentially got like a sort of natural PDA.
well, unfortunately, it was no help right now because you get a 3 squeezes for I don't know.
She nods to that and says, "Well, let's hope it's not a bad idea." And she picks it up.
All right. I guess roll Arcana.
Can't
Oh,
tell me
cool.
what to
Sorry.
do.
Sorry, just saw a comment. Sounds like the burial site of Darwin's grab bag.
And you can also roll Arcana, Ariadne.
Okay, roll Zircana to check.
Cool. And let's see. Okay, so I also rolled for Lyronus. Like, I think after a moment, like, seeing Haelum kneel and hearing her ask the branch about it, like, he actually comes over to investigate as well.
Mhm.
So what Lyronus is able to pick up, and he relays this, like, oh, there's definitely magic in that thing. And pretty dark magic at that. Ariadne, what you're able to pick up is the magic imbued in the necklace is tied to the owner. Whomever this belongs to, they are a spellcaster, and this appears to be their arcane focus. So you would even say, I'll even say, because you were a druid and, like, you know, that you understand the concept of, like, an arcane focus, especially something connected with nature.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna fucking... Alright.
She has a U wand that counts as her arcane focus.
Yeah. She has a what now? Sorry.
Wand.
You wand. Okay, so yeah, you're definitely familiar with how this kind of thing works. So Lyronus points out that there is definitely some kind of dark magic inhabiting it, and you were able to tell Ariadne. Do you relay that to the group?
Yep. She relays it as best she can, and like even takes out like her own like arcane focus to like for example, this is my but for instance, this is what I have, but I think whoever decided to go with a necklace instead, and she actually takes out her note, like her like piece of paper to like quickly sketch how the necklace looks, just in case it'll be important, because oh boy, like what's this with the whole like fangs, snakes, and wolves, and having like this black indigo flower? The flower doesn't look like the corpse flower from. I mean, you know how we had to get a flower for Sally before?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the same kind of a different color, but same kind of flower. It's not like that, right?
It's not exactly like that, but that's an interesting observation.
Mm-hmm.
I'll even say, yeah, because you made that observation, Ariadne might be able, I mean, you can choose whether or not she does, but you can make that connection. Ariadne can make that connection. It's not the same type of flower, but there is some resemblance, especially in terms of the black rot that appears to have affected it.
Okay. Yeah, then I think she'll try to relay that to the group too. 'Cause I do know she wrote down notes about like getting about the flower for Sally, and so like she'll like try to go back to, so she'll remember that there is, she'll remember flower. Yes.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Okay, after you point that out, like the similarity to the flower that Sally had you collect.
Yeah, but just with black rot for some reason.
Well, I will say that there was basically the black fungus attached to the flowers that you found for Sally. Like, it's not the corpse flower kind. The kind that you specifically found, the one that she had you find and track down, was explicitly a type of flower that was in hybrid with this black fungus that was growing on it, that they basically sustained each other through day and night, which is the undead properties of the fungus connected with life itself, which is what Sally was looking for in an herbal component. So on having it pointed out, the similarity, Lyronus, thank goodness, is going to say, like, he's going to say, like, yeah, I think this is actually very much related to that. I mean, he's going to relay, that it's not the same flower. It's very clearly a different breed of flower, but it does seem to have formed the same sort of symbiosis that the sort of symbiotic relationship that the other flowers that they collected did. But it's hard to know whether or not it's actually symbiotic or whether or not this was an invasive rot, because...
Like infected.
Like a what?
Like infected or something.
Yeah, but that at the very least they do appear to have some similarities. So that might be worth keeping in mind. And also kind of like looking at the collection of like the different fangs as making up the rest of the necklace.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm almost wondering too, because remember there was because like I'm looking back at like because writing down notes about Lyra versus Lyra, because remember Lyra, like the Leira was like a goddess of deception and ruin, and being that the opposite of Lyra, which is like who Vermouth is all kind of standing. So
That's a way
like
to put it.
yeah, sorry, I just so it's like,
Vermouth stands a goddess.
It
Always
is essentially
stand
a
a
ton of
queen.
Lyra simps at the end of the day.
Lyra, when they don't answer their prayers, yes, queen, give us nothing.
Hollow be thy bathwater.
Oh my god.
Oh,
What do you think the creek right next to town?
oh my
Dude,
god.
Lyra is a gamer. Anyways.
But, yeah, so like foot sticking, like her even kind of wondering, because also remembering, like, remember how like we found out at the statue, the statue's also rotting, and so now there's rot in this flower, and like maybe there's a Lyra thing connected. She doesn't know for sure. She just remembers that's kind of a thing because her notes. Lots of trying to theorize, because what the fudge is up with this necklace?
Valid, honestly.
it is interesting. So I think, who wants to keep it? Or if you want to just drop it here.
No, I think we're gonna keep it.
Yeah, we'll keep it.
We gotta figure out whose it is.
Yeah.
Especially because the guards did point out before that, I mean, we know that, for example, Danforth was collecting magical items, and this is apparently connected with a spell caster, which the guards explicitly said no one really knows how to do magic out here.
Yeah, I was even gonna say, like, if we're going after Koshi, we can't, since Haelum at least saw the pair of eyes, she's not gonna rule out the possibility that whoever they both saw is still out here. So this arcane focus, somebody with yellow eyes in the distance, they were charmed. It's pretty much her assumption that this belongs to whoever did this.
Does Haelum tell Lyronus and Ariadne about the mysterious eyes?
I think she would have said something when she explained why Koshi ran off.
Oh, okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, so yeah, you guys would know because
Okay.
that's the reason why we're going after Koshi.
Oh yeah. Okay. Just making sure.
Yep. Good eye.
Thanks. So then that necklace might belong to the mysterious figure.
Yeah.
It might. Hard to say. So, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So who is keeping the necklace then?
I'll keep it.
Okay.
What should I write down?
Cool.
Dust necklace.
I mean, just arcane focus necklace?
Okay.
I think Lyronus is going to say, just probably be careful about wearing it.
No, I would never wear anything like this.
It is rather gaudy, isn't it? I don't think it
I was
quite
about
matches
to
your
say.
aesthetic.
No, it's definitely not my vibe.
He's gonna kind of like ponder over vibe for a second. But like just kind of like shaking his head. Well, anyway, it
I'm
will
just
be worth...
establishing that the Fae talk like Zoomers.
God.
Bro, that arcane focus
Unfortunately.
pretty sus.
Sus
Among Us.
necklace, your strange plant life, the happening ringing my bell. I mean...
Exactly.
I mean...
Among Us.
Good codfish.
I think Lyronus is going to point out the bar of light. And Ariadne, like I said, you were able to see that Koshi's trail continues alongside where that light. I suspect that this might have something to do with our bird friend.
It might be. We'll have to follow it.
Perhaps.
And so, do we do so?
Yes.
Okay.
We can't really roll on the beam of light to, like, get more details from it, I think, so...
Plus, I just think of the assumption, like, Haelum sees this beam of light, like, well, Koshi does like shiny things.
I mean,
So, Koshi, you were following the light, and at last you see the light. Okay, anyway, as you're following it cautiously, and just in case this is leading you into further trouble, you find that the trees start to thin out, and you actually find a road. Like, it's a dirt path. It's not like, a paved road or anything like that. But you do start to recognize more and more things from your trek into town. Things that you saw kind of like to Vermouth, specifically. You recognize having passed through this area as you were making your way over from Fearenwall.
was this the same road we took?
The same road we or you, Koshi, specifically?
Like, was this the road the party took to get to where we were previously, or is this a different road?
Yeah, actually, it was probably like you were on that road when you saw the sword leading in the direction to where the guards were. So yes, it is that same path. So you're actually kind of recognizing it from that.
Okay, because I was wondering if I would need to roll a history, or alternatively, I was thinking maybe having Koshi climb the nearest tree to try and get a better view of the area to see if he could, or if they could ascertain, like, in relation to the town where they are.
All right. Well, I guess do you want to climb? I mean, I will say that this is indeed the path that you were taking up until you deviated from it to go follow where the trail of the guards was leading. So you don't have to roll a history, but
All right.
if you want to see whether or not Koshi recognizes it sooner rather than later, because you will eventually recognize it one way or another.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have Koshi climb a tree, not only to see if they recognize the road in relation to the town and the path they took, but also to see if they could get a better vantage point of potentially seeing that mysterious figure they saw earlier.
Good idea.
So would that be athletics?
That would be acrobatics.
Okay, I'm
in
better at
terms
that
of
anyway.
climbing. You're able to come at least partially up the tree. You can make it up to a fairly low branch, but it does give you a better look of the overall area. It lifts you up bare from compared with where you were just on the ground. Roll perception for me.
I was about to ask about that one.
Okay, you see no sign of whatever it was that you had chased into the forest. However, you do start seeing what looks like 3 figures making their way towards town. It's in the distance from where you are, so you're not quite near it, but you see it near what appears to be a fork in the road. And I'll even say this. The direction that you're coming from, this is probably more relevant to the path that Koshi took heading into town. You were at this fork. This is definitely the direction towards Vermouth. And the other part of the fork heads off in the direction towards Fearenwall. So, pardon me for...
Does Koshi recognize the 3 figures?
No, you can't make out much detail about them, just that they're far enough in the distance that most of what you're able to make out of them is just that they appear to be humanoid and they are moving in the direction of the town.
So, away from Koshi.
Away from Koshi. They seem to be passing, there's no relation to Koshi or their position. These 3 figures are just heading along whatever path they are, heading towards Vermouth. Like, as if they were heading from Fearenwall to Vermouth, but you can't make out anything about them at this distance.
Okay.
So, I'm assuming Koshi eventually drops down from the tree?
I was going to say Koshi was either planning on doing that or trying to jump to an adjacent tree to try and get a little close. Basically, my idea is maybe have Koshi jump from tree to tree in the direction of the three figures.
Koshi lives here now.
The trees have been thinning out. In order to jump from tree to tree, you would still have to land on the ground and do a running jump from tree to tree.
Okay, fair enough. So they're not close enough together for that.
Yeah, they would be at minimum 20 feet apart, if not like more closer to like 50 feet apart, each of the trees.
Okay.
Like I said, they were thinning out because you're getting closer to civilization. If you can consider Vermouth civilized.
I mean, Koshi considers any place with a bridge civilized enough.
Because you don't use it.
Well, not the way most people use it.
So, here's
fish.
here's where hopefully the teams can connect. So the team with Haelum, Ariadne, and Lyronus, you are able to find your way back along where Koshi was traveling, although you're a few minutes behind them. What you see is, the thinning of the trees. You start to see the road that you had traveled out to try and locate where the guards were, and you see what looks like a black and brown streak. Largely brown, predominantly brown, because of the cloak and the skin tone of Koshi. Heading closer towards the fork in the road, is that correct?
Yeah, Koshi basically sort of scrambles their way down the tree. They've since raised their hood over their head and sort of tucked their beak into like the neck of their shirt, the sort of go Jawa, essentially, and sort of starts scurrying down the road in the direction of the three travelers.
So, you recognize your friend Koshi putting on their disguise and heading towards this fork. And roll perception, Ariadne and Haelum.
Will do.
I hope this works.
I'm
please.
perceiving.
With my
I'm
4
perceiving.
eyes.
Goddamn.
No, you're 25.
And all three of us are able to make out not just Koshi, like you guys can kind of figure out that it's Koshi because they're a little bit closer, but all three of you, including Lyronus, see the same three figures that Koshi was able to. And so you can see that Koshi is heading kind of in their direction.
I suppose we still have to go after them.
And
But
I
we
think...
Try to get Koshi first, right?
And as you say that, Ariadne, Koshi... I'm gonna just do Koshi's actions for him. You're not required to play anymore, Griffin.
No, yeah, they are the puppet of the campaign.
Lyronus, relieved to see his friend, actually cries out, like, Koshi! And starts actually bolting over in their direction.
Alright, so I guess we're not being quiet then.
Oh, dear. It makes sense, but oh no.
So would I roll for perception
No.
to see if Koshi hears them?
No, they heard. Unless Koshi was actually deaf, but I believe you actually have some bonuses to perception.
That's fair.
First of all, your perception's already pretty good, and I think there's the thing related with the Kenku.
Well, I mean, my perception is 2, so...
Yes, but I remember there being something specifically connected with being a Kenku about, like, having advantage on, like, perception stuff? Like, I think specifically related to... I was gonna say specifically related to, like, I know smell for sure. Perhaps hearing.
I think they might be. Oh wait, no. I think I remember. The point I was thinking of is the same thing. They have a lot of the same things as kobolds, but didn't have the sunlight sensitivity.
Hmm.
So they don't have a disadvantage in sunlight. But let's see.
Oh.
Nope. Not saying anything specifically about perception on their player race.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Then I was just wrong.
I think you might have been thinking about the comparison with kobolds, because kobolds have sunlight sensitivity, so they have disadvantage in direct sunlight.
Yeah.
And other races just have like perception and dim light, like dark vision-ish. Now, Kenkus just have their expert forgery and mimicry.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything perception-wise for Kenkus.
All they get.
Let me see.
Hmm.
Okay, I was mistaken.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm still, I mean,
Yeah.
just in case. Attention definitely with shinies. Hashtag dark crystal. Okay.
I mean, Koshi essentially do be one of those motherfuckers.
Alright, so anyway, I will say you still definitely hear Lyronus because he is not shy about calling out to Koshi. And if nothing else, I imagine that Koshi is going to be sensitive to the sound of approaching footsteps, especially if they're running in their direction.
Koshi has become extra sensitive to any indications of Lyronus at this point. Basically, he's sort of letting out the bird equivalent of a sigh. And, question, do the 3 travelers hear this?
Oh no.
That's what I was hoping to avoid, but you know,
Yeah.
we do need to ask.
So would I roll perception to see if they notice?
I mean, I just rolled for their perception, but yeah, go ahead.
Alright.
Perception on their perception, and then they could perceive on our perception, and then...
You know?
Oh.
You can't.
Koshi is just sort of... Like, if Lyronus were close enough, they could hear... Fan-friggin-tastic, we're back here again.
I will say, you cannot tell whether or not they have noticed. So you can't tell if they have or have not.
I know Haelum's gonna assume that whoever they saw would, because her whole thing was like, let's be quiet. Wasn't quiet, like, alright, well, let's throw that plan out the window.
Oh no.
Are you guys following along with Lyronus?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think so. Can we roll to see if the other people noticed, or?
Absolutely, same
Are we-
perception.
Okay. Well,
Perceiving.
All right, Ariadne.
Haelum is more of a people person, so...
Ariadne, you were able to, you were not able to see it at that distance. Especially, I imagine you were more focused on Lyronus. Please be quiet. There are people, and we don't know if they're good.
yeah.
But
We don't know if they're on our side or not.
Haelum, you do happen to see whether or not they appear to have noticed, and they are still moving in the same direction. They do not appear to have noticed.
I was gonna say, it's good to know
Wow.
that they don't appear to. Haelum would assume, like, if they have or haven't, they're gonna keep moving. So we're either not important or they didn't hear us. So that's a few. But now, like, catching up to Lyronus, like, let's try to keep our voices down for now, since there are other people in the vicinity.
I'll even add the detail of as the others are catching up to him. Lyronus attempts to hug Koshi.
Koshi pulls out their their sword.
There's...
All right, you're gonna have
Pulls
to
out a
roll. You're gonna have to, because this is now a grapple. You're going to have to roll.
Oh my god! Personal
Strength.
space, bud! Personal space!
You can make your choice between acrobatics or athletics to avoid getting grappled.
I'm going with acrobatics because that's better.
Alright, if Lyronus gets stabbed, he's got no one to blame but himself.
That's true.
So- Ariadne can try to heal him.
Oh, cool. You manage to swipe the sword or get the sword out in such a way that and step aside as you're doing so, as you're pulling out the rapier, that Lyronus kind of screeches to a bit of a halt, seeing that. Like, you step enough out of the way that he's able to actually see it. So yeah, you avoid getting grabbed by Lyronus, and he just, like, he does like an, oh, you're doing what you always do, pulling his sword on me.
Hard.
Like, as soon as they have the rapier pointed, Koshi sort of like annoyingly goes, snooping as usual, I see.
he goes on to be like, I'm just glad you're all right, and then Haelum coming up with the, let's try to be quiet.
Let's both try to be quiet, both of you, please.
God damn it, Traveler. Corvus 19, god damn it.
Fuck.
God, fish.
Anyway,
Be careful about touching Koshi because he doesn't like contact sometimes.
I don't think he likes contact, or I don't think they like contact in general, but Lyronus kind of grinning sheepishly like, yeah, wait, what? Like about the, what was it? Trying to keep quiet?
Yeah.
Like, wait, why do we need to keep quiet?
Haelum
Koshi
points
sort of lets out like a bird-like sign and points with their rapier towards the three travelers.
Oh, then let me see if he can... No, his insight was terrible! Oh no! Wait, why would we have to be quiet if they're just...
Hand on mouth.
Does Ariadne actually do that to him?
Because, like, we cannot get caught. Yeah.
Okay, roll dex.
God.
This is a special kind of grapple.
Oh, yeah.
Just straight dex.
Straight dexterity. How do I fudge sticking?
You click on the word dexterity.
There.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, my.
You're able to do that. Like, he's even... Well, wait, why do we need to be
And
We
I'll
don't
have.
know if they're on our side or not.
Yeah, there you
Oh.
go.
Ah.
No, you
Oh.
basically explained what I was gonna do. It's like basically shut them up and then explain they might be bad guys. Let's lay
Oh,
low.
I see. That makes sense. He
He's
nods.
one of those kind of guys who, when you put your hand over their mouth, he just licks it.
He's not that person.
I'm so thankful for that.
Okay, I'm gonna let your mouth go now. So we're on the same page, right?
Lyronus, like, is the hand actually off of his face at this point?
Not yet, because she needs him to like
No, 'cause we don't
confirm.
trust-
Well, you can feel him grinning against the palm of your hand. What was it again? I'm going to let go, or I'm going to... What was it again?
I'm gonna let go of your mouth now.
Okay.
Are we on the same page?
I'm going to let go of your mouth now. Then says, oh god, I'm trying to think of how he words this too, because it's unfortunately Lyronus.
Oh no! What?
Unfortunately, it's Lyronus.
Yeah, that's Lyronus.
Here we go.
You feel him grinning against the palm of your hand, and then saying, and what if I don't want you to let go? Or actually, well, and what if I don't want you to let go?
Tries to flirt while muffled.
Yeah.
Muffled flirting.
He's a sub. Are you surprised?
I think to that she'll be it's going to make sneaking very difficult.
He kind of softly chuckles, but he nods.
That boy ain't right.
If you want more mouth cover, maybe later, okay? And then she removes her.
She just chops it off.
In her hands.
Just cuts off her hand.
Basically.
Something to remember you by.
Oh god.
She's not registering what she's saying. She'll pay for it later. It's fine.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
She's got
later.
a bad case of Ken syndrome.
Yes.
God, yeah.
He kind of semi-winks at her, but then Koshi asks if they know anything about what that stream of light was.
Koshi sort of takes a moment to think, and then, not having the right words to describe it, they start drawing a picture in the dirt with their sword.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
As best a depiction as they can of the statue of Lyra.
Well, I have a suggestion to make this easier. Would he perhaps draw the symbol of Lyra?
I would probably have to roll history to see if Koshi remembers that symbol.
The statue might be more like fresh
You're
in their
right, that's
mind.
fair. Yeah, so what would it be, history or religion, to remember the symbol?
You can roll either one.
Okay, I'll go with history.
I will say, if it helps any, Koshi did draw the statue before on the back of one of Ariadne's notes, and if he draws it the same way and then takes out paper, compares the drawing.
Yeah,
Oh,
like,
are
even
you
if it were a
talking about
stick
the
figure,
statue?
Ariadne would be like, wait, I've seen that before.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
True.
still have your drawing.
You're right. Thank you for reminding me, Jane. So yeah.
Channel rating just rode right up, thanks.
Yes. God. But yeah, Koshi sort of draws a similar drawing of Lyra as to what they did on the paper earlier, but in the dirt with their sword.
I will also add that that history was good enough that you do also remember the symbol, if you wanted to include that at all.
Oh yeah, Koshi will include the symbol.
Why not just draw both?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, no los dos. So,
Okay, so he draws the symbol. I think to that, that's when Ariadne would take out specifically the sheet of note that had the drawing that Koshi had drawn before. Are you talking about the statue from town, Lyra statue? And then holds it up.
Koshi nods.
Okay. Are you saying they're related, maybe? Or I mean, are you saying that you? No, sorry. Are you saying that the light thing earlier? Are you saying they're related?
Koshi also nods. Koshi continues to draw a picture, basically a sort of crude picture of a woman pointing a finger and a beam of light coming out of it.
So the statue made the beam of light for you to follow.
and I mean, Lyronus gets advantage on this. Oh god, yeah, he nails it.
Perfect.
Seeing the statue, does he include? I forget. Does Koshi include the symbol?
Koshi includes the symbol, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Lyronus goes, wait, and then he goes on to say, did you see a woman? And then describing literally exactly like what you saw. The woman dressed in vivid yellow and other bright colors.
Koshi nods.
Lyronus actually, like, at this point, grips Koshi's shoulders for a second. Like, again, not a grappling thing, but just like a, wait a second! And then he's very clearly like, kind of like, okay, well, it appears that Lyra reached out to you directly. In order to guide you in this direction?
Koshi, annoyed by the sudden grasp of their shoulders, sort of grabs Lyronus by the face to try and push them back.
Alright, you want to roll another fucking grapple?
Strength check?
Yeah, you can roll athletics. You have to roll athletics now.
Okay. Yeah, that tracks. Koshi's just sort of putting a hand on their face, trying to push them away, struggling.
Unfortunately, Lyronus maintains their grip, but now Koshi's hands are on his face. So I think at that, he just kind of like, sorry, drops his hands. And then at that point, he kind of puts his hand to his head. Well, it's not unheard of for gods to manifest themselves, but... he seems to be contemplating something about this. At the very least, I guess that does mean that there is something important enough to have her direct intervention. I guess it means perhaps we are on the right track.
At this point, Koshi goes, no gods or kings, only men.
Well, we know that's not true.
Let's agree to disagree.
Koshi, if you were aware enough of how their eyes look, you might be able to just see them roll their eyes a little, despite the lack of visible pupils.
Lyronus kind of sighs and is like, then I suppose it is all the more important that we thank her, then. Perhaps by helping her chosen village? Or one of her helping one of her chosen villages.
Yeah. Well, we already were, so might as well keep doing what we're doing.
Lyronus nods and then gestures over to the three figures. Should we get a better look?
Yes.
All right. You want to do this unnoticed?
Yep.
All right.
As unnoticed as possible.
Roll stealth.
Stealthy
Alright, let's
time.
see.
Oh boy. Can we be stealthy?
Not very.
Oh,
Man, I even have a +6. That sucks.
Yeah, I was
well.
gonna say, but... Okay, and I'll even say this.
Oh, darn it. I could have cast guidance. Oh, well, it's fine. Maybe next time.
Maybe next time, and you may get the chance in a moment anyway.
Yeah.
You draw
like that.
closer. You draw closer. And... Because the way I have this written, you're basically on the outskirts of Vermouth at this point. You can kind of see the buildings to the west of where you are presently, but they're still pretty far enough in the distance that you're not, like, immediately at the town or at the village. But what you do see as you get closer to these travelers is, while they are humanoid, they are seemingly shambling randomly.
Oh.
Not good.
Slowly, which is why they did not appear to notice you before. And interestingly enough now, they don't appear to notice you now either. They seem to
And-
be single-mindedly focused on traveling in the direction of Vermouth.
And this is still during the day, right?
This is still during the day. This is afternoon. It's late afternoon at this point, so it would be like 4:30, ironically.
Oh,
I
are these zombies?
Mhm. I am tempted to have Koshi do a sneak attack on the closest zombie.
Give me just a quick sec. I
Okay.
realized I forgot to do something. But it shouldn't take too long, hopefully. Alright. And...
Just reminded of that dumb joke.
Alright. You're gonna attempt to do a sneak attack. Let me even just fucking check what that is again. Okay.
Yeah, I can post the actual description in the chat there.
Well, okay. You know how to strike suddenly, okay. Okay. So, you are striking from stealthing.
Mm-hmm.
So, actually approaching for... Okay, which one are you targeting?
The closest one to us.
Okay, so this one?
Yes.
Okay. Roll a stealth to get close enough without getting noticed. Okay, yeah, you definitely get within striking range without getting noticed by any of them.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be just, roll your attack.
All right, I'm gonna go with the rapier.
And you're gonna go.
Whoa!
I was gonna say you get advantage. You don't need advantage.
Holy
and
fudge.
And I believe for that, I get that plus an extra d6, a 1d6, since it is a surprise attack.
And I will even say,
Yeah,
we can
it
go.
says-
I usually go with double damage, so I'm
He's
actually
talking
gonna
about
say
specifically the extra part of this surprise attack.
right.
Yeah,
so I'm
'cause
just
it
saying
says,
it's
like,
going to be 9 plus 9, so it's going to be
Gotcha.
18 plus roll a d6.
Gotcha. On the
Okay,
same page.
18 plus so it's 23
23.
damage to this thing. That was a little bit much. You managed to get this thing through the head, and I would say you instantly kill it, but it's undead. Although, let me just do a quick thing that I need to remember to do occasionally.
Yeah,
It did not.
I know what you're talking about.
Because
It
I was
did-
gonna say, Koshi really does not like the undead.
It
You know
did,
what? Valid.
It did not make that save, I'll say that much.
Hell yeah.
But I will say that what you end up actually doing, so, as soon as you land your attack, you notice something odd about these particular creatures. Unlike the zombies you faced before, while the zombies you faced before were pretty sturdy, resilient, these are uncomfortably soft. the flesh tearing like wet paper. So not only did you already do enough damage, you basically splattered the motherfucker into goo at your feet.
Dang.
And you can definitely this is not how zombies are supposed to be. I mean, they're rotting dead creatures, but
like Koshi's gonna be definitely collecting a vial of this stuff afterwards.
and roll a nature check, and anyone who wants to can also roll a nature check on seeing this.
I will.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Interestingly, Ariadne, you are the only one who doesn't get to be able to figure this the lowest level of this. Koshi, you were able to tell that they are decaying rapidly. Like, there's a decay associated with the undead, but this seems to be accelerated, and I'll get back to that in a second with Koshi and what they perceive.
Yeah, because I was gonna say I was wondering if I could roll Arcana to see if necrotic magic was involved in that.
Let me just finish my description.
Okay.
Haelum, as well as Lyronus, recognize this decay is worsened by the presence of a growing black fungus under the surface.
Ooh.
So it's a gooey mess of zombie flesh and black fungus.
Oh.
Ariadne, unfortunately, you did not actually get to notice the particular decay, but
yeah, understandable.
the other three do, and Lyronus and Haelum are able to actually pick out the fact that it is a black fungus that is causing it to decay rapidly.
It's not great. I mean,
50.
I'll relay that for Ariadne so she'll know.
Buy your instant undead. Decays on its own. Just add water. 50% off. Well, everything.
Gross.
Yeah.
God.
So I'm sorry. What did you say when I was just reading the chat?
I let Ariadne know so that she knows.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, Lyronus would probably have pointed that like that appears to be black fungus kind of thing. Like, you know, just like probably even adding like, you know, just yeah, so possibly even pointing out black fungus seems to be a thing. And kind of like nodding to the other two about like, you know, the necklace that y'all guys has found. All right. So, let me
So would Koshi have been able to hear that conversation?
Probably not.
How far are you? Oh,
You're over at them. We don't really. Yeah.
Yeah, Koshi is like right up in the sort of zombie puddle right now.
all right, roll perception.
Haelum's not going to be speaking very loudly still because she's still under the idea of like, oh, people might notice us.
yeah.
She wouldn't have caught on that they are because they didn't hear us is because they're zombies.
Okay, gotcha. So Koshi is unaware of this.
Okay. So, okay. So, we're going to roll initiative.
All right.
All right.
Token. Roll
So,
initiative.
Remember to click on your token and then hit initiative.
So
Yeah.
right click token and then hit initiative.
You just
Oh,
have to
wait,
select.
huh?
You just have to select your. Well, I can also.
You had to click on your token first.
Oh, like on the map or
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Your token on the map.
I gotcha.
sorry.
I can
No,
add
you're
you.
good.
It's Gucci.
It's just that we can't add our own initiatives unless we do that. So otherwise, Lore has to add them.
Oh,
That's the
and I
reason why I'm always like, click on your tokens first because it just makes it easier.
Yay.
Yeah,
No
and I
big
see what I
deal.
did wrong. I was still on the ruler thing, and I thought I clicked it, but then I have to go back to the setting of select/move.
That makes sense.
Let me. I have to pull out something. I'm going to find something. There we go. Alright. So I have it selected, I think. I'm still figuring out how to use things like the stat blocks. Forgive me, I am baby DM.
No worries.
Yeah, man.
Okay, well, it's giving me the reference for it. Well, whatever.
What are you trying to do?
Well, it's ultimately not all that important anyway, but I will roll for their initiative. I just need to okay, come on, you. Sorry, I'm adding them basically to the actual list here. But let me see.
Ah.
The two that are left. Okay. Okay. And so, Koshi, you're still ahead of that one particular zombie. And I'll even say this. They still do not appear to have noticed us. So, Ariadne, it is your turn. Combat has officially been initiated, but they do not appear to have noticed that one of their kind has been slaughtered to goo.
Thanks. So, so we note. Oh, but then she doesn't note it. Wait. What is the right thing to do? Let's see. Okay, she has. She could do. Because, like, if we attract their attention, then they're gonna start coming near us. But then if we can just take them out.
If you want to draw closer without arousing their attention, you would roll a stealth.
Okay.
So that would be accompanying your movement. So, how much? How much are you? Where are you going to move?
I'm gonna move 30 feet. Let me see.
Yep.
I guess because if we're going along the pathway, there's no easy place to just hide unless I have her go near that rock or go near one of the trees. I think for now then she'll move up here to where next to Koshi.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, so
move your token and then roll your stealth.
Yeah, and hopefully stealth works.
Yeah,
okay.
You make it up there absolutely no problem whatsoever.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that's your movement. What else do you want to do?
Let's see. They're not provoked yet. I think for now, because she knows this now. She knows that one's a zombie, but would she be able to tell that the other two up ahead are zombies too?
Yeah,
they're zombies.
Yeah.
Oh wait. Oh yeah, we know they're zombies. Duh. Okay. In that case,
Ariadne, strike!
Okay, budget. I'm just gonna go Thorn Whip budget.
Test your might.
And that's a sad 7.
That does not hit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Was there anything else you wanted to do, like a bonus action or like free action of talking or something?
Let's see. I think at this I guess at this point she'll mention to Koshi like just a really quick like it doesn't seem to notice us yet. So let's use that to our advantage.
She nods.
Okay, cool.
I know you said Koshi nods, but all I heard was she nods, and I was like, I thought they were non-binary.
Koshi is my gender fluid like goal.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there you go.
Okay, and it's one action. Okay, so anyway.
Yeah, and I can even mention like as after Koshi nods, sort of Koshi says in a low tone, "Wipe them out, all of them."
I see.
Understood.
Haelum.
Wow, I'm also here.
The Haelum. Yep. Save the Haelum.
Yeah, it's still the same amount. She's gonna move up to the others as well, just to get on their same level.
Get on their level.
This as far as I can walk. Would be a good attack though.
Although, roll your stealth as well.
Oh yeah.
If you're trying to avoid getting caught. Yeah, no problem.
I never get caught. She's graceful as fuck.
Yeah.
You move, and like the detail of like your skirt very gracefully just kind of floating around you as you move.
Floating gracefully on a sea of air.
Basically, yeah.
Let's do a vicious mockery on the one on the right.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Me roll.
I think that's
I have
a
to make a wisdom save against my DC, which is 13.
13. Well. Oh, they actually resisted it.
All right, that's the end of my turn then.
Okay.
Dang, these are resilient fudgers.
They
They're really
are.
not.
Well, yes and no. I did not wait, I'm on the wrong. That's why. Alright, so let's see. How far can the coaster, Jesus
I was
Christ.
gonna say.
How far can the Lyronus move? Alright.
Watch them
really
fall
want
flat on
Koshi-
their face, stealth-wise.
You really just want Koshi to be an NPC. You just want to play Koshi so bad.
Well, everyone loves Koshi. Who wouldn't want to be Koshi?
You want some of this?
Oh my god, bitch.
Uh-oh.
I just pictured Jane with that one comic. Oh my god!
Like IMFC.
Tomato
Okay.
instead of like the fox.
that comic. But yeah.
Alright. Thankfully, Lyronus also rolled with the stealth to not get caught, coming up alongside Ariadne, and this is kind of like confirming that Koshi knows that, look at fungus! This thing appears to have been largely held together by this fungus. Oh, and apologies, I did not see the, DM. Go ahead and roll, it would be wisdom, I should think.
Hashtag Twinkle Puppy to the rescue.
So roll your whiz save, Griffin.
Oh, right. Sorry, I apologize.
Well, that's up to you to decide whether or not Koshi saved.
That
Is it
will be
like
determined on
DC 10?
Koshi's turn.
Okay. That's also fair.
DC 10 beats it kind of situation.
We shall see.
Okay.
So, interestingly enough, I was trying to think of actually what Lyronus is gonna do in the moment. I'll even say that he starts to open his mouth and he starts to cast Vicious Mockery himself, but then has a moment where he suddenly shudders and stops, and his expression kind of goes blank, and he pales dramatically again. And that's his turn.
So,
Cool.
upon hearing what's holding these things together, Koshi sort of stops for a moment and sort of looks down at their hands, realizing it's sort of covered in the zombie fungal goo. And
Twinkle Puppy to the rescue.
yeah, exactly. And Koshi is just sort of like, yeah, thank you, traffic. Duly noted. Yes. Apparently, the local motorbike association has opinions. But, yeah, Koshi's sort of staring down at their hands, and they sort of loosen their grip on their rapier to the point where it sort of falls on the ground. And they're sort of out of it for the moment.
Oh, good. Mutual
Oh,
blue screens of death.
Yeah, and that is Koshi's turn.
oh no.
Okay.
Ooh.
Cool. So this one, does not yet notice. Well, let me kind of roll. Nope. Does not notice, so no turn. This one, Does not notice, so no turn. Ariadne!
Oh gosh, we got 2 blue screening. Oh no. And then okay, so probably
You
me
help one, I help the other.
yeah. Okay, all right. Tries to like okay, then Lyronus Lyronus, are you hello? Are you all right? Tries to like gently like tugs at his arm like Lyronus?
Right there, bud.
Lyronus seems to startle out of his thoughts for a moment, and then looks to Ariadne, and then, actually immediately glances away, like, trying to, it's not, okay, roll insight for me.
All right.
Any one of you,
do...
I was gonna say any one of you can. I imagine Koshi's not gonna have much insight into what Lyronus is doing at the moment.
Koshi has their mind on other things.
Yeah.
Ariadne, he's looking away from you in shame.
Oh.
I mean, it's like a mixture of shame and fear of something, but you can feel him shaking underneath where you've touched his arm.
Okay.
Roll insight. Yep.
So, wait, roll insight for the shame part?
No. Someone was rolling it. Someone typed /roll insight in the chat, and I was just like, yeah, that's just what happens. So.
Okay. So then, if she notices it's like there's a bit of a shame, there's a bit of like fear, I guess to that she'll say like it's gonna be all right. You don't you don't have to be afraid, okay? You're not here alone. You have the rest of us here. And she even gestures to. I know Koshi's having a crisis right now too, and I'm so sorry, Koshi.
Having a day.
Koshi and Haelum.
They're having a gay old time.
Yeah.
Is that why they keep pulling their sword on Lyronus?
Listen.
Anyway, roll persuasion.
Okay. So basically, let's see, persuasion. Like, there's nothing to be ashamed of. Like, but like needing help. We're here for you.
He glances back to Ariadne, and for a moment his expression remains kind of blank, but he then swallows, nods, and gives something of a half-hearted smile, and then says, I'll be here for the rest of you. I can't right now, but please, like gesturing to the zombies, like that's like indicating you guys can take care of the zombies, but I'm gonna not be doing something right now.
Oh, okay. I think to that then she'll cast. You know what? Yeah, she's gonna give him a tap of guidance as a kind of just a reassurance thing, and also like just in case it might help, and then
What?
so like a little like a nod of understanding, like it's okay, we'll take care of things. There's a tree nearby. Sit back. We'll come back for you, okay?
Well, I think he's gonna, like, his indication was that he's going to be basically playing support for this.
Oh, I thought he meant he was gonna sit it out. I'm sorry.
I mean, he's effectively sitting out the doing damage part of it, but if you guys get hurt, he's there.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
So, if that's your turn, because that is one action, was there any kind of bonus stuff that you want to do, or?
Yeah, no, that's it. She can't move because that was her action then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you have your action. You do also still have free movement, like, or you can move up to 30 feet if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I agree, chat. Ariadne is the sweetest.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll have her move up by 1, so at least she's within 30 feet of both zombies now.
Cool.
Cool. Does she still have stealth, or does she have to roll for that again?
No, you're fine for now. The stealth
Okay, cool.
carries over for now.
Sweet, thank you. Next person. Because I wanted to be close enough to zombie, but then also in case Koshi needs help too.
Yeah.
So my turn then.
Yeah.
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 The first thing Haelum would do then is to do kind of the same thing for Koshi, like free action, like lightly hand on shoulder, gauge whether or not they pull away and see if they're okay.
Gab, could you do a perception check real quick?
I guess.
Yeah, you see this. As you're shaking Koshi, who is, looking down at sort of the goop in their hands, you notice something about their eyes.
Mhm.
They're a bit more orange than you remember them being. Like, normally they're this sort of, like, pale, milky white, but you notice that they've got more of a bit of an orange sheen to them. Like, very, very, very faintly darkening in the orange territory.
Okay. Is this something I'm gonna need to roll to figure out?
I
I'm
suppose
asking
if you want to roll
for that
insight.
situation.
Yeah.
Is that an insight roll?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
you're going to have to, like, is Koshi trying to keep this anything of a secret, or?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay.
So you can tell that Koshi is not at home right now. Koshi's sort of lost in themselves, not really cognizant of what's happening outside of themselves. But you can just barely hear, like, Koshi sort of muttering under their breath. Get it. Got it. Sort of
Alright.
over and over again.
And yeah, and she's heard that before, so in other contexts. Well, like,
At
previous
least
situations.
something similar, anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. I wouldn't be able to tell if it's the same or not, so I apologize.
Oh, yeah.
I think
No
it's the
worries.
same language, but
Yeah.
there's a
It's the
couple of
same
differences
language.
here and there. I'm just noticing from what I recall, because usually he connects it with, or they connect it with, like, Koshi or something in there. But
Yeah.
this is...
This is of the same language, but not necessarily the same thing you've heard before.
Yeah.
Okay. And then from that, seeing that, she'll kind of like remove her hand if Koshi isn't responding the first
Yeah.
time. She'll look over to, having seen / listened to Ariadne and Lyronus' situation, she's going to stand there for just a moment before quickly taking out her rapier, muttering, "Do it yourself." And she's going to say, "Ariadne, take care of them." And she's going to run right up to this one and stab it.
Cool.
Ooh, okay. Ariadne nods to that. Right.
Oh. Thank you, Shamel Cook, for subscribing.
Hell yeah.
Yep, you
Nice.
hit.
Nice.
I'm going to kill.
Destroy.
All right, cool. You do 6 damage. Cool. Let me just double check. Yep, okay. Let me type in numbers. Cool.
Type in numbers. Wow.
So
Oh.
you also noticed that your rapier went straight through the fucking thing. Like, there was
Yep.
no resistance. Like, it wasn't like, oh, here's like a fleshy thing that it goes through. It's like, again, wet paper. It
Yep.
just dissolves around the rapier, and you easily poke through the rib cage and out the back.
Nice.
I will say this. The zombie notices you.
Good.
Oh.
Was there any other bonus actions you might have wanted to take this turn, or?
I don't know if I have any bonus actions at this level, but let me double check.
I do know that Bardic Inspiration is technically a bonus action, I think. Bonus
I'll
action.
be honest, I don't think she's going to be willing to give a Bardic Inspiration.
That's
No,
fair.
she would. She'll give it to Ariadne. There you go.
Oh. Thank you.
The Bardic Inspiration is they take care of them. That was the line. She's like, take care of these two.
I will keep that in mind. And that's a 1d4?
For mine, it's, I think, still a 1d4.
Okay.
Gains 1 bargain solution to D6. No, it's a D6.
Yeah, D6 is, I believe, the base one.
And only changes in
Sweet.
2 levels.
Okay.
So, D6.
Cool. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
Well, that's right. I wrote it on the frickin' thing, and then I still had to look in the description for it.
It's all good.
Hmm.
Let's see. I don't know that Lyronus is gonna do much at the moment. Let's see. I think what he is going to do is he's going to move to be about here, so that he's definitely still within range of pretty much everyone. And in response to Haelum doing a bardic inspiration for Ariadne, Lyronus is going to give her a bardic inspiration, basically like, shouting on the encouraging, "You can do this!" And then internally like, "And I can't."
Oh no.
Aw.
Actually,
So-
I even like that because that's gonna make because the meta part of this is her frustration comes from the fact that she is a court functionary, she's a courtier, she doesn't know how to deal with people, like emotionally.
Mhm.
She's emotional herself, but she's pretty cold and calculated when it comes to helping other people. Like she'll give you an answer, but she's not gonna coddle. So she sees both Lyronus and Koshi suddenly out of the fight. She's like, fine. Well, I'll leave them to the person who's probably gonna actually help them with their emotions. So hearing from Lyronus like, you can do this, she's like, okay, I don't have to worry about him.
Yeah.
Makes me feel a little better now.
So you get 1d12 to be able to
Yay.
use as your applause. Alright.
I'm definitely gonna
Sweet.
use it in this fight.
Okay. So, you're probably not, but let's see. Koshi!
I'll find them.
Oh.
Oh boy. So let me see here. At this point, I think I will do another wisdom save to see if Koshi schnaps out a dish.
Snap out of it, bitch.
She is they drunk on schnapps?
Yes.
Maybe.
I just went full Sean Connery. Yeah, after a little bit, suddenly Koshi's, blinking again. Their eyes sort of fade back to their usual, like, milky white, glossed over look. And Koshi sort of, like, shakes their
Thank
head.
God.
Sort of like that. And sort of Koshi's head is now sort of like looking off in various different directions, like like a curious bird, because they're
Yeah.
unsure what just happened.
Quick question. Would Ariadne have to roll to see if she to try to catch the orange eyes, or is it too late at this point?
I guess that is up to Lore.
Was she looking at Koshi before this?
Yeah, because take care of them, and then so attention back to Koshi and Lyronus, and then Lyronus.
I could see it either
So-
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Because
could be
if
either
we're
way.
talking about like turns and a round being roughly the same time,
Mhm.
it would almost sound like, given how these things are all kind of happening, like Ariadne helping Lyronus, Haelum helping Koshi, those two happening at the same time. So with Haelum running away, Koshi snapping out of it, Ariadne either looked over in time to see the transformation back, or like the coming back to it, or missed it.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to say.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
roll your perception.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll let the dice decide.
Oh yeah.
Perception.
Yeah, she definitely saw it.
Perfect.
Okay, cool. Mentally noting that. All right.
And
Yeah,
would that
so
carry over to the gold, to the orange sheen fading? Would she have noticed that as well?
Probably, if she's still looking in Koshi's direction, they would. She would have noticed that their eyes went from that sort of like I almost want to say creamsicle orange, but sort of like maybe like
Yeah.
off color, like maybe expired creamsicle orange,
Most.
to like their normal like expired milk color at this point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so now Koshi's just sort of looking all over the place, realizing, oh, I dropped my sword. And Koshi then goes over and decides, oh, well, Ariadne's got that one. They're going to go over to this one. So, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And remind me, have these guys noticed the party yet?
The one
One
who's
that Haelum attacked.
yeah,
One that Haelum attacked.
this one has yet to notice. So
Okay.
you can do go ahead and do a sneak attack, although I'm just gonna give you go ahead and do a sneak attack. You've already rolled a
Okay.
pretty good stealth for this.
Ah.
Well, roll a d20 or roll your attack. Are you doing a rapier or
A rapier, yeah. Sorry, I'll click the actual rapier.
okay? Okay, yeah, that hits. So roll your damage for the rapier. Like just
Alright.
click on that. Okay, so you do 6 damage.
All right.
Okay, cool. You did it for the exact same amount that that Haelum did. Cool.
Hell yeah, synced up again.
I mean, all right. So,
Ooh.
well, this one definitely notices you now. And damn it, I just had this thing open, so. All right. Okay. All right. It takes a swing at you, but it's not fully able to get the arm to work the way that it wants it to. So like the shoulder almost seems to lock up as it starts to move to attack Koshi.
Ugh.
But like, you know, it starts to move the arm, but then the shoulder clicks and suddenly the arm does not move.
That's pleasant.
Uh-huh. Let's see. What is this one? This one decides to also do the same thing to Haelum.
Oh,
And also...
sorry, I just noticed in chat, Uncle Koshi kicks the most tail feather. Go Koshi.
No.
I know exactly who you are, and I love you guys.
So this one tries to make a slam attack against Haelum, and their leg buckles underneath them a little bit, and so they end up, unfortunately, what's it called? Keeling slightly to the right and misses Haelum. They regain their balance enough to stay upright, but they're literally falling apart right in front of you.
Amazing.
Ariadne.
As they should. All right. I think there's a moment of like, oh, thank God you're okay. At Koshi, and then so both zombies are still up. I'm just gonna roll a dice to see which one she goes to help. Okay, she's going to help Koshi. Let's see. She can try to, I guess, how many feet? That would be still enough feet. Yeah, to see if maybe. Yeah. Okay, maybe I'll have her move there. Let's see. That's 25 feet. And then, okay. Or actually, is it, would it still be 25 feet to, oh, Codfish, where was she? She was over here. She has a sickle.
I mean, if she wants to do a melee.
Yeah, cause if she does the vine thing, then that kind of takes it. I don't know if that would like. Yeah, if that would like mess with like Koshi's thing at the moment.
Well, it's a new round, so you're moving after what Koshi is doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Cool.
plus these things are essentially made of wet paper mache, so have at it.
Sweet. Okay, yeah. Then she'll try to do sickle to help.
That hits. Roll your damage.
Okay, damage 1.
That interesting.
Sad.
So where exactly were you aiming to hit this creature?
Codfish. The part that was I think you mentioned something about like the arm like being weird.
Like the arm basically dislocated.
Yeah, but she'll try to just let's get rid of that arm. Maybe one arm it won't hurt.
I
Tuck
mean,
here and there.
it works. It did, in fact, actually. So, I'm guessing I can see, like, she slices down on the actual shoulder that was dislocated. And yeah, it just fucking flops right off the body, landing on the ground in a wet thunk, or a wet kind of sound.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
And
Well,
Yeah, like someone dropped a serving of arm-shaped chili on the ground.
actually,
ah.
here's a question. Do you want to use your bardic inspiration to add damage? Because I think that's part of what the bardic inspiration can add to.
Nope, I don't think so. Actually, you can't
Oh,
add
is
it to
it-
damage. You can add it to attack rolls.
Oh, okay.
Ah,
All right, that's also fair.
Yeah.
Didn't
yeah,
need
I was
that.
like, wait a minute, I know this answer.
well,
Sadly,
yeah. Thanks much for the update on that, Gab.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, thank you. No worries. Like I wanted to use it. I would just but I wanted to like play it safe and use it on a roll that was like not hit.
There's ability check or attack roll or saving throw.
Mhm.
Yeah, like honestly, I think one of the coolest things about this campaign is that we have like other people with like DM experience fact checking certain things.
Mhm.
I have
Yeah.
knowledge, unfortunately.
Me every time neuroscience topics come up.
Valid.
Hey.
Haelum,
Yeah,
it's your
stab
turn.
time.
It's rewind time.
Yeah, it's stab time.
Oh,
Okay.
that's hot.
Similar to Koshi making the fucking sploosher.
Gross.
Never say those words in that order again.
Koshi making the sploosher.
Read it here.
As you put the rapier through, like it, or actually, because you already had the thing just impaled straight through. Do you want to say like similar with the twig blights, twisting it to kind of like slide it out, maybe?
Does her twig blight special where she's basically stabbed through and noticing how simple it is, she's like, well, I'm just gonna do a spin, and there goes half of its body.
And it
Nice.
not only half of the body gone now, it almost seems to dissolve because of it. Like again, similar to what happened with Koshi and the other one,
Yeah.
it just becomes goop at her feet.
Mm.
So, was there any other bonus actions you wanted to take on that, or?
Nope.
Okay. Lyronus, what are you going to do? I think he once again tries to say something. He starts to activate his vicious mockery, but once again freezes in the middle of it and just kind of like he even seems to try and force himself to do it, and in the effort of it, just he ends up kind of collapsing to his knees and holding his head with one hand. He's not doing okay. Again. Koshi!
You broke it. Okay, so Koshi's gonna go in with another attack with his rapier. And boop.
That hits.
Not so much. Oh,
That-
does that hit?
That hits.
Oh shit. Okay.
Okay. And
Alright.
similar to what you did before, this thing, upon impaling, after the arm gets sliced off, you kind of go in, and I could even see it, like, going through the neck, and that just ends up, once again, disconnecting everything. The head, interestingly enough, appears to remain intact, but the rest of the body dissolves into goop. Twinkle Puppy, no! Nothing unfortunate about knowing your care, Haelum.
Yeah.
Whoopsie. That's not what I meant to do. There we go. Okay.
Hmm.
So, all three are now dead.
Nice.
And that's that.
Dang.
Fight over!
Yeah.
Yay!
Why are they gooping though?
Haelum's gonna make a note that Well, basically, like, even starting the conversation by saying, like, so these were much easier to cut through.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone have any inkling why?
Koshi at this point pulls out one of their usual like stoppered bottles filled with like just regular goo, empties it, and starts scooping some of the zombie liquid into it.
Delicious.
Did it have to do with maybe the fungi?
Fungi? Is this the same kind of fungi we've seen before?
Lyronus is right there.
it.
You can just call him a fun guy to his face. Okay, I'm sorry.
Codfish.
And this is adorable as hell. And again, zombie goop. This is adorable. I'm
Yeah.
teasing.
Uh,
I'm not
Just
repeating the question.
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Question
Okay,
still stands.
Yeah, the question still stands.
Hmm.
So yeah, go ahead.
I'm thinking I might would it be a nature check to see if Koshi could discern anything from the goopy zombies?
Sure.
All right. Because I'm wondering if it would either be nature or arcana.
You can actually do either.
Okay.
I'll try to roll Arcana then.
Yeah, Koshi's got no fucking clue.
Same. I'm gonna try to roll. It was nature or arcana?
Yeah.
It was nature or arcana, yeah.
Just tries to nature. Nope. No.
Oh my god, druid, why?
You're tearing me apart, nature!
It's so sad. Nature is an intelligence thing, and druids are wisdom.
That is a problem that we had with the print sheet, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Walden can foot-sticking nature better than Prin can. Salty at all.
Well, again, to be fair, I don't know. When you grow up with it, when you just grow up in that environment, like, you don't think about it. Anyway.
Yeah.
Print
That's
was,
fair.
also
That
grew
is-
up there.
I know. No, that's what I was saying.
I
know-
almost registered that
No,
as
I just understood what you meant.
I almost registered that in my mind as, to be fair, grow up.
No, I was specifically, just to make sure that we're on the same page with
Yeah.
this, what I was saying is Prin may not have thought of it, it's just like, it's a fact of life, whereas Sam might have been like, you know, much, like, that wasn't where he was born, even if he did grow up there, so he might have still been like, I need to learn about how to deal with this, instead of just, like, you know, taking it for granted, so that might be part of it.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So, Haelum, Koshi's busy scooping, correct?
Yes, Koshi is, again, they emptied one of their stoppered bottles full of, like, their con liquid and has cleaned it out and is now filling it with the zombie goop.
Lyronus is presently taking deep breaths and getting back up to his feet. Haelum, what you can tell, like, the question is basically the nature of the fungus. Basically, was that the check on
Trying
this?
to figure out if this is the same fungus we've like encountered before with the flowers.
Yeah.
That's what I was asking earlier.
Mhm.
Okay. Unfortunately, I didn't register that.
If
That-
that's not the check, then we can just ignore it.
Well, my understanding of the check was determining what the nature of the fungus was.
Is that not the same thinking then? Based on my question?
The question, if your question was if it's connected with the flowers that you were collecting before, if it's the same fungus, that would be a nature check. If it's what's going on with the fungus, that would have been either a nature or arcana.
Did I re-roll then or nah?
Roll your nature if you're asking specifically if there's a connection between that
Yes,
and
that was the question.
Okay.
So I'll roll.
Hmm.
Probably nothing. Never mind then.
You kind of suspect that maybe there's some kind of connection with it, but it's still really too loose to be able to tell. This can just be any black fungus, but it does not. It's been in a zombie, and if it did have any resemblance to the flower, it looks caught up too much in the zombie goop to be able to truly analyze it. As far as Haelum is able to tell.
Here's another thing. Koshi still has one of those fungus flowers.
Mm-hmm.
So they could always investigate that. And upon maybe hearing this, Koshi sort of like pulls out, holds up the vial of freshly collected zombie goop, as well as pulling out, what they'd use to preserve the fungus flower, and sort of looks in between the two of them. And maybe sort of offers them to Ariadne to give her thoughts.
Oh, the one who came up with it, though, was Haelum, not Ariadne. She rolled a 2 on nature, so she wasn't able to connect the dots at all.
Okay, that's fair. In that case, Koshi will go over here and sort of offer them to Haelum.
Is that something we can roll on, Lore?
To compare?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're also pulling out the flower to compare it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Because Koshi collected one of those fungus flowers for themselves when they were collecting them.
All right, you guys can both roll nature.
All right.
Actually, all of you can roll nature if you want to.
Okay, so let's see here.
Roll.
Cool. And with those rolls, what you can tell is, for sure, at this point, Haelum and Ariadne, you can tell for sure that this is not the same fungus that was affecting the flower. They have, like, different consistencies, and even though it is mixed in with the zombie goop, it's a different sort of texture altogether. Yeah. I also don't personally know much about fungus, but basically it does not look like the same fungus. Especially because the fungus that is attached to the flower is in a symbiotic state with this, whereas with the zombies, this was clearly an invasive state.
Gotcha.
So, and the Koshi...
Mm-hmm.
And this even kind of makes sense, all things considered. I'm gonna roll something real quick, actually.
Okay.
I have a thing after that.
Yeah. Koshi. What you're able to figure out from making the comparison between these two things is, they're not really particularly related to each other, and that the fungus in the zombie is... It's not a naturally occurring fungus. That's what you're able to tell. It's not something that would grow naturally in the wild. So this was inflicted.
So at that point,
looking
between... Oh, go ahead. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Haelum needed to do a thing.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask, like, if I don't know if it necessarily needs another roll, but after comparing it with the flower that Koshi was holding and ruling out, okay, this isn't the fungus we saw before, pulls out the necklace to check the fungus from that flower.
Ooh, good call.
And that would be another nature.
Okay.
All right.
Watch me fail this one.
Oh boy, nature.
Once again, Ariadne saving the day.
Thank you.
Ariadne, you can tell immediately that this is in fact the same fungus as the one as the one in the necklace.
She tells Haelum and Koshi immediately.
Koshi, this is also your first time seeing the necklace.
It is, and to this, Koshi sort of like... They sort of mutter under their breath. Dark magic.
Precisely.
Lyronus has edged closer to the group, and he's looking at looking at what they're all looking at, but he's quiet for the moment.
And at this point, Koshi sort of looks back to Lyronus and sort of almost annoyed by the fact that they've run into so much like undead since they met this guy. Sort of goes, "Your path takes us to catastrophe."
Wow.
That's a bit of an unfair. It's not. It couldn't. The town, the Crimson Rose of Vermouth. Doesn't that ring a bell?
Koshi, if you didn't like this path, then you can always leave.
Lyronus is looking incredibly guilty at this. He actually visibly flinches at what Koshi says to him. And then he basically mutters, I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't have involved other people in this.
Haelum kind of shrugs and says, well, there's no need to think about that now, because we are involved and invested even, not only in the situation, but in you as well. There's no need to feel guilty for what's going on, though it may be better to let us know more of what you think you understand of the situation. Obviously something was shaking you up during this fight.
Okay, roll persuasion. Actually, come to think of it. Okay, roll persuasion, but
I'm gonna do it anyways.
Yeah, well, you rolled your bare minimum anyway. I will say that does not get the... Well, he is actually reassured by what you said. Like,
Yep.
he looks up to Haelum in a bit of shock, and then, some tears finally come to his eyes, and he very quickly dabs them away, and he smiles and says, well, I guess I'm glad for that. I'm very invested in the three of you as well. But asking him about being shaken up about the battle, he starts to speak, stops, and then says, it was not the nature of these creatures that stopped me. And then he, again, somewhat sheepishly, but the shame is back in his expression. I don't want to talk about that. I'm sorry. It's just something that I will have to figure out how to deal with it.
But you don't have to deal with it alone.
He shakes his head.
Are you afraid something's gonna... Oh, good.
No, you can continue.
Oh. She's just gonna ask, are you afraid something's gonna happen to us if you open up about this?
Oh, just pointing out in the chat, GoDays89, invest in your Twinkle Puppy today. Capital now is plot armor later.
Oh my god, Fish.
I love you guys so much.
And what was the question that Ariadne asked again?
Oh, basically, like, are you afraid something's gonna happen to, like, the group if he says anything about it?
He shakes his head vehemently and says, No, it's nothing like that. It's... And then I'm trying to think. Let me see. Does he... No. Okay. So yeah, he does not work up the nerve to say it, so he just says, I'm sorry. It affects only me. It's not something that will affect the rest of you. I need to figure out how to get past that. If I'm going to help you at all. If I can help.
But Haelum, I think you were about to say something earlier?
No, I was just gonna say that she's nodding to whatever he's saying, not adding anything.
Okay.
Basically like, yep, gotcha.
I have another point of I'm wondering, because he mentioned, like, a while back that, he tried to escape from, like, where he was kept up in, like, the tower place with, like, the woman and stuff before with a friend, but that friend got killed, I think? Did not make it out with him. So I'm wondering if maybe there's, like, a trauma related to that or something.
Do you want Ariadne to roll insight?
Is it okay? It's not metagaming up. It's in her notes, right?
No, if she took notes on it, it's canonically in her knowledge base.
Ooh. Yeah, here's the thing. That's not as far off a thought as you might think it is.
What? Oh, no!
I mean, there's no way to confirm it unless you ask him, but yeah, the sneaking suspicion that his reluctance to speak on his inability to fight might be related to what happened to the additional star-destined person who had first met him. So that is an inkling thought that has occurred to you, Ariadne.
Yep.
Okay. Alright. Is she gonna be ballsy enough to... Let's find out.
Let's find out.
Oh, that's an 18.
One,
I am so
two,
sorry,
three.
Lyronus. If you're worried about the... Oh, no, that's not what she's gonna say. She's gonna say... If it's what I think it's... If this is related to what I think this might be... What happened before when with you and your friend... It won't happen this time. We'll make sure that we'll all... like, you'll get through this, we'll all get through this. We'll be able to... Things will be different now.
He stares at Ariadne in horror. And then starts moving in the direction of the town, saying, we need to get back to Vermouth. We need to get
Oh, no.
back to helping them.
But we want to help you, too!
He's still moving in that direction, although after a certain distance he will pause and, like a puppy, wait for the others to join him before moving much further. But, yeah, he's walked away from that conversation. I'm sorry.
Oh, bitch.
And unfortunately, it is because of the wording. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. That's insert foot and mouth moment.
Oh, yeah.
So I can see, like, as they're walking along, like, Koshi is sort of, like, not mumbling, but you hear, like, walking alongside Haelum and Ariadne, sort of, like, looking in the direction, like, of Lyronus. Maybe not necessarily loud enough for Lyronus to hear since he's far enough ahead, but, like, I'm certainly glad you came along. The day you came into my life, I had a good job. Now I can't even sit on the grass. And Koshi sort of gestures to the zombie muck covering the grass and ground.
Oh.
Well, I'm glad to have met you both as well. Lyronus included. Let's try not to play upon any of his triggers from now on, okay? Pats Koshi on the head.
Yeah, Koshi sort of flinches and sort of snorts to indicate the sarcasm from their earlier statement.
I mean, given that they were also triggered.
Oh, yes, but Koshi doesn't know it.
Uh-huh. So...
Follow along.
Apologies. I didn't mean to trigger him in that regard. I just thought...
Oh no, you're both fine. Truthfully, this is before she gets up to Lyronus. Truthfully, if he's not willing to talk to us about this, then we don't talk about it. If it becomes our downfall, then how much can we help him truly?
I suppose so.
He'll just need some more time.
So, because we are definitely at that point time-wise,
Yeah.
is it gonna be calling to the close of the stream, but basically making your way back into town?
Yes.
Yeah.
The air is crisp, swept clean by the winds that had terrorized Vermouth earlier. You briefly see Sovalis, and I'll move you guys over, in fact. Let's
Oh.
where is it? That's what the thing is. And then let's move you guys back over here as well. Cool. All right. And I should pan this out so that people can actually see this. All right.
Yeah.
And I need to move these guys, actually. They would be closer over here at this point. So, you briefly see Sovalis finish his sweeping on the porch and going back inside the inn. You also see Hilde standing near her merchant stand just outside the barracks, speaking with Danforth Thanasi with a serious look on her face. The guards are very clearly, like, glad and relieved to be back, but also they are currently standing at full attention. Especially given the company that Hilde currently is keeping. And that is where we're going to leave for today. Danforth has decided to emerge to speak with Hilde for a moment. And that's where
I
we
live,
are.
bitch.
Danforth Thanasi, son of a gun.
Yep. So, alright, cool. You guys had an encounter, you got through it, you learned a little bit more about Lyronus' trauma, you learned a little bit more about Koshi's trauma, you traumatized the fuck out of those zombies so much that they're dead, and you made some interesting discoveries. There's a lot of things connected to fungus here.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you guys were able to uncover as much as you did, actually, as a matter of fact, so that's cool. So, let's see. With that all closing out, I'm just gonna go back to this screen here. Cool. So, yeah, it should be a couple of weeks from today. Same time, same channel, same place, all of that. Starting at 4:30 p.m. on Sunday. It will be Sunday, let's double check the day. Sunday, the 3rd, or... God, really? Sunday the 13th is when that's going to happen. So it will be Sunday the 13th, starting at 4:30 p.m. Sorry, I was even double kind of checking because I've got some other plans in the works presently. But yes, Sunday the 13th should still be in the clear for this. But yes, if you're able to make it back here, Sunday the 13th, starting at 4:30 p.m. Central, which is 5:30 p.m. Eastern, and all the other conversions of time zones and all of that out there. We'll be going live with that. There will be, for sure, another vote on Patreon about something. For example, the tree branch, by the way, was something that was voted on the Patreon. Whether or not you guys ended up actually getting something crafty, which you did, technically. It's also...
You got a mascot now.
You got a mascot instead of an item that you could craft with. I mean, you could still craft with it, but, like, you guys got attached, and that might make that harder.
Literally.
It's the branch to my weapon. It becomes a sentient weapon. Just kidding.
I mean,
here's the thing. I've played campaigns with sentient weapons. Godeza89 can attest to that.
Oh, I have too. I gave there was a sword that had the soul of a barbarian with a bloodlust in it, and I gave it to the nice person in our team.
I see.
Yeah, in the campaign I was part of, Godeza had a sort of flaming, a halberd possessed by a fire elemental called Flame Tongue.
Well.
I've had Flame Tongue weapons.
Yeah.
So.
Let's go.
But basically my point in bringing that up was to point out that there will be a vote on Patreon. If you want to get in on the voting actions, you only have to pledge $1 a month to the Patreon, and you will actually get to vote on goodies or obstacles or good fortune or bad fortune, however you want to play it. You know, in between sessions, usually it's not every session, but there will definitely be a vote this time. So if you're interested in getting in on that, if you become a patron, just even $1 opens you up to that. Although some of the higher tiers gets you different, like, behind the scenes stuff, things like art, sneak previews of things as they get worked on, other content that goes up on the channel. And so, I mean, there's a lot of benefits to that, and also it helps me in terms of being able to afford, like, you know, day-to-day stuff. It functions like a tip. You can also go to ko-fi.com/mloreley if you just want to do, like, a one-time tip, basically. That's more just, it helps to support me as well as the channel, technically channels. Either way, it's appreciated. And here's, like, you know, the call to action stuff. If you guys... actually like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. When this video goes up, feel free to actually make a comment on it. I love reading your live comments too. The chat stuff is really nice to interact with. I gotta say, y'all are pretty fucking clever. I love the stuff you guys are saying as we're playing through this.
Absolutely.
And, you know, of course, there's the ring the bell, which I believe also notifies you whenever a channel goes live. So that, I mean, I usually try to post it to, like, Twitter and stuff like that so that folks can join in the fun as I do it. But just in case I neglect doing that at some point, it should also notify you when I'm going live. So, all of that said, hopefully you guys had some fun today, and you guys in call with me?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Fun as always.
I cannot believe the dots connected. So sorry, Lyronus. Oh my god, man.
Don't apologize for character development.
Yeah, it do be happening like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she fudged it up so bad though, saying the wrong thing.
Oh, you
It's-
wouldn't have known.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
And don't worry too much about, you know, quote unquote, fudging it up. It just means that you put a puzzle piece into place a little bit faster than I would have expected, but you did.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, kudos to you on that.
Dreams.
Next time, we're going to be getting into the end game of the Vermouth chapter.
Oh, we're gonna go break up Farinwall next. One city at a time. Get ready to be shreked.
Get ready to be Shreked.
That is a way of putting it.
It is, and I love it. Also, I agree, Traveler. Builds character.
Well, actually, it builds character.
Yeah. I mean, tomato.
But
I mean, you would know, I suppose, Jane.
I
Wait,
guess
wait,
so. Corrector, but anyway, it's more like the fact
Yep.
that it was corrector. Anyway,
Shaw.
Sha. Yeah, Sha. Okay, all right. That's a, by the way, reference to
Ross
Ross's
Scott's review of Sonic Heroes.
yeah, the Ross's game dungeon. Be sure to check that out. I will give shout outs for free. I will also give shout outs for, like, you know, if people want to fucking sponsor me. But I guess I'm not quite that big of a channel yet to warrant sponsorship, but we'll see. Anyway, but thank you
I
guys
mean,
for
we
coming.
got the Koshi product market pretty much nailed.
That's
so.
true, and we need to start making those videos, I think.
Absolutely.
That said, thank you guys for coming by to watch today. Be sure to watch the video when it goes up. If you're not entirely sure about events that have happened before this, you can check out the playlist, which is also on the channel. And I hope to see you 2 weeks from now.
Sounds good.
See you guys
Yeah.
next time.
Woo!